Wow, and Andy getting all creative with the promo this week. That was quite cool, actually. So we're on number 34. This is the first concept album we're doing. It's from Dream Theatre and Metropolis Pt.2, Scenes from a Memory. Andy, how you doing, mate?
Evening. No, that was all Stephen, mate, and that's an exclusive to the Pelikan Podcast. Never been released. Thing? So that is Stephen's new showreel for Stephen Dewar Visuals, which is just amazing.
Oh, brilliant! So that was. I thought you were getting to
I'm not taking
award-winning stuff.
I'm taking no credit for that.
Oh, that was amazing! Really good. Really, really good. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Stephen has to say. But before we bring our guest Stephen Dewar on, our other guest presenter tonight, he's back. It's Boab Williamson, Boab the Stud Muffin.
Who put that on, Matt?
It's good to see you, Bob.
Cheers, guys. Good to be back. Sorry I was away for that long. I know the show dipped a wee bit when I was away. But back now, back.
It's good you're back. And out your bed. You've been in your bed for a wee.
Oh no, I know for a good reason either.
There's Jackie's saying the same. What an opening! Felt like I was in the cinema there. So Andy's not taking credit for that. So Andy, let's. You've got as a belter, I guess, this week. You can introduce our guest.
I mean, I've known about Stephen for a long time. It's only been recently in the last couple of months that me and Stephen have been talking and things like that. And such an interesting guy. Tour manager, videographer mainly. Does lots of band shoots, big in the metal scene. A lot of guys does a lot of the big bands. Tour manager, been tour manager for Videographer. As far as I know, all around Europe. He'll correct me if I'm wrong. Photographer.
Wow.
Twitch streamer. The list endless. Bass player. What a bass player, by the way. For a fantastic bass player for his band Arcade Break, who've just released a new single. So I'll get a link up for that soon as well. But
what's his band's name?
Arcade Break.
Arcade Break.
You're right on this, didn't check that out?
I'm checking out because have we got a track to play for the Tommy Clark question?
Well, we can play a bit of the Arcade Break and we can play Becky Wallace, but I'll give you one anyway. We can have a look at
that's
both.
Cool. It'll be interesting to see about tour management as well. We had Matt Hickman on, was talking about that. He was tour managing with Kyle Faulkner, so it'll be interesting to hear that. And then videography. I mean, some of the visuals that we've got to show for Stephen as well. And by the way, guys, wait till you see his setup when he comes on. He's got
one of the best setups I've ever had. I thought Hamish was good, right? But this just takes the absolute mickey, you know what I mean?
Well, I've got my video camera's out of Aldi. And wait till you see this one's out of Harrods, I think. But anyway, Andy, introduce our guest.
So, here we have Mr. Stephen Dewar. Stephen Dewar Visuals.
Yo, what's happening? I'm live. I'm here. I'm happening.
Coolest dude on the planet as well, by the way. Full of energy all the time.
Aye. Hold on, I'll wind myself up a wee bit. Aye. Oh, that intro was class.
Yeah,
you did really well, Andy. Telling them I made that. What are you on about? I'm not got any kind of skills.
It was really cool. It's really cool. And Andy's saying you've got a Twitch channel as well.
It goes under my tour company, which is Vandad Tours, but it's the Vandad because that's who I am when I'm out.
The Vandad
on Twitch.
It's because he looks after them all. That's what it is. He keeps them online. That's what I get told anyway.
It was actually inspired by one of the boys for a band, Lotus Eater, in Glasgow. They were like, "Oh, you're like the dad of the van. You're the Vandad." And then one went, "Oh, John Claude Van Dad," and then they were like, "The Vandad," and I was like, "That does. Fuck it, I'll take it." That and I'm just a big brutal B word when I'm on tour. Take no crap and keep everybody in line.
I take it. See, for streaming, is Twitch one of the? It's kind of everybody seems to be on Twitch now. What's the kind of the main drive towards people going to use Twitch? Like we're now on YouTube and Facebook, but
I think Twitch just has a like it started off as a big gaming company. Like it streamed mainly gamers and stuff, but when it opened up, it's like in real life sort of aspect. You could watch people walking to the shops. You could watch people doing anything. It really blew it open, and that's when stuff like what I'm doing, like the photo stuff, the video stuff, I'm editing stuff online for people to watch. They're coming out of that as well. Whereas I think YouTube was initially like for vlogs and that kind of thing. It wasn't as interactive. And whilst you're watching anything on Twitch, you've got the person there to communicate. It's effectively a video version of Twitter. Like Twitter's used for one-on-one conversations. And that's, I think that's the draw to Twitch, to be honest. That, and I can tell people, I can welcome them and then I can tell them to go as well, which is great.
And you get gifts and all that as well, don't you? Folk give you gifts.
There's you can sub to people, which effectively a sub buys a guy a cup of coffee every month.
Oh, cool.
So like I've got a few subs, I've got followers. Followers get general notifications of what's going on if the guy is online or offline, and you can cheer with bits which are like 1 pence per bit. So it's a lot more transparent with where the money goes.
Yeah.
Because YouTube, you've got all them brand deals and you've got sponsorships and sponsored posts and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
So I think it's just an honest interactive media.
I think I've only seen Lemmy. I'm right into Lemmy. I quite like watching Lemmy's improv stories on Twitch, but really good. That's quite a nice insight for that.
Lemmy's character that he always makes, is it Craig on all his stories?
Craig.
Let's call him Craig. Lemmy's channel's amazing.
It's really good. What about yourself, Bob? Are you still you into your Twitch and all that?
Guys, I've got.
He's not even getting broadband, but all
my headphones, and if I have that, we're fucked. So just leave it at that. Give it. That's enough for me.
Bob's a DJ, Stephen, and he absolutely hates it when he's on Facebook and he's got his set all up ready to go on Facebook, and then they just take you off.
Mixcloud Live now, guys. Mixcloud Live now.
I've heard good things about that.
Never cut off, nothing. It was absolutely brilliant. So
actually, I've seen a few DJ streams. I think it's through Trevor Riley, Hamish's dad.
Yeah.
I think, is he using that? Like, I've seen that Hamish's wee brother, he started streaming DJing as well. He's class. Kens how to keep the room moving. Well,
Hamish's wee brother's a DJ as well, eh?
No, like his dad's wee boy is taking the reins with the DJ side of it, I think. Hamish is too busy playing Rockstar, and he's good at it.
Oh, he's good. I looked the part and everything. Okay then, guys, we're going to get into this absolutely outstanding album. It's the first. It was so. I don't know about you guys, but it was very difficult to score because it is a concept album, and I'm quite glad we've done a concept album because I don't know about yous, but this definitely took a few listens because if you were to score it like track by track, like Adrian that's usually on, who's a drummer in our band, Stephen, see if a song's over 3 minutes, it's getting scored terribly. He hates long songs, long tunes and all that.
Listen, I was freaking when Andy said it was 19-second clips. I'm like, what? The songs are 11 minutes. How can you pick 19 seconds out of 11 minutes? But
we just hope that folk listen to the album. This is just basically to get folk to the album, and a lot of folk do listen. There's Michael Jackson again.
Aye, that's it. Just pushed the door open to go and get a drink. That's kind of we get a wee drink. That's why you don't see it. That's why you don't see it. Stephen, where's the dogs?
Oh, today the dogs are away. Oh,
all right.
I'm making sure that they didn't come in and ruin my day. Am I still here?
Oh,
you're still there. It's just Andy. Andy was cutting in and out again.
I had to move my screens. I've switched places here, so I moved you onto the other monitor, so it looks like I'm looking in ease instead of looking away from ease.
Far too technical for us. Right, so before we go into the album, what we do is we usually do a Pelikan Force, so we all pick a track from a local band, an unsigned act,
cool.
and just promote it. So we'll come to you first, Stephen. Just tell us your pick, how you know them, how you like their tune, and then we'll go for it. I've
actually forgot the name of the track. It's my favourite. Is it human behaviour? No,
this broken. This is
this broken design.
Back up. Yeah, that's broken design. There we go.
Right.
Yep.
So that's by a local band called the Ninth Wave that are part of this whole new wave of, how would I say it? New wave of like post-punk electronica sort of thing that's going on in Glasgow. Like you've got Lucia and the Best Boys, you've got Walt Disco, Medicine Cabinet, like, and the Ninth Wave are like, to me, they're like cream of the crop for this scene. But I love them all. They're all class guys and girls, sorry. And this song just hits this utter driven groove that just, when I heard it first live and I went back to it and listened to it on Spotify, I can't get enough of it. It was my top played track of 2019, I think, on Spotify.
All right, yeah.
And I just can't get enough of it. It's so good, and I think they just hit the nail on the head, and their new stuff's even better, but like you always go back to the one that you fall in love with first.
Okay, Ninth Wave, I think this is their second track we've had. I think we've had them before as well. I think this is their second appearance in the Pelikan 4. So here we go. Love that video there.
Like, absolute belter of a track.
A few ball getting guys with, is that all makeup? That's all good makeup artists then, eh? The guys with the no eyes and all that. That's just Play-Doh, isn't it?
It could be tracked. It's very easy to set track markers for eyes, and then you just choose a circle for a cheek, and then you move that up, and it moves with the eye, and then you can blend it.
Oh well,
so it can actually be done on the cheap. I do a wee bit of After Effects type stuff as well, like computer stuff.
Bob, now I know you're a massive 80s fan, and this kind of music might be up your street, or this new wave kind of post-punk stuff coming out. Ninth Wave, I'm sure you've heard of them.
I have, but it's a resurgence, I would say. And I think it's maybe an advanced take on the 80s synth scene, to be honest with you. And they're calling it post-punk. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to put a generalisation to it, but I must admit, see some of the up and coming bands that are in that genre. It's actually for somebody like me that loves the 80s. It's actually quite refreshing to actually hear a new band playing a sort of tune that you can get right into straight away. And there's a few of them out there, and you're hearing them all the time. You know, I'm terrible for names, but you say, well, that's quite a good song. But what I've been very impressed with a lot of the new bands now is actually the videos they're putting out.
Yeah,
maybe 5 or 6 years ago, it was like camcorder and it was all over the place, but now there's a lot of work in here. Hopefully that gets them noticed a lot more. Do you know what I mean? And so some people start getting picked up because there's not enough of it. You know, it's not enough.
I've seen. Oh, sorry. When you go.
This is where people like Stephen come into it, though. You know, like to make the visuals for these guys, to make their vision what it is. Do you know what I mean? And big up to people like you that's doing that, because it's just phenomenal.
Andy's going to lick your arse all night, Stephen.
I know it.
You know that?
I'm so in it. But you can't see what's happening below here, like. Oh, fucking hell.
If you're ever with somebody, Andy's the nicest guy in the world. He makes everybody feel $100. So he does. When a life's good, guys. Aye, well. When he starts scoring, yeah. All right, Bob, we'll come to you for your tune this week. Let's see you wing this one.
I can wing this one. Lyle and Connor, La Club Royale, Rise Up. To be fair, I'm not going to lie, Andy can help me pick this one because I couldn't remember the name of the band when he asked me, even though I know who the guys are. I'll actually listen to this a couple of times the other day there because I was lying in my kit and I was putting it on. They're classic too. I loved them, the Ranzas, so they're just a step above in this. They're taking a wee bit step further, I think. They're brilliant tune.
Okay, here we go. New single, La Club Royale, Rise Up. Here we go. That gets better every time you listen to it.
It does.
Doesn't it?
That tugs on my wee goth heartstrings, man.
Aye.
Like,
That's a brilliant tune.
Took me right back to like listening to The Cure in the olden days.
It.
I say the olden days, I'm only 30, but back when I first got into The Cure and I was listening to Sisters and the Mission and aye.
See The Cure, that's good you said that because I'm trying to think, but it's definitely an 80s vibe again, Bob. And The Cure's a great shout. The Cure is a great shout.
I love it, man. I've been listening to all the tracks this week, and there's not a bad track in there.
No,
I mean,
no.
I'm actually going to check them out after this.
Well, you should, Stephen. To be honest with you, as I said to you earlier, just 2 minutes ago, about the 80s vibe that's coming. Bands are adding synths into their music now, and I'm sorry, it's elevating a lot of people. And synth's always done that. I mean, and people used to get slated for it way back in the 80s, but they were pioneers of it, and people are now starting to do it. Well, and that's a top tune.
Even see for the past 6-7 years, I've been into the whole retro wave sort of thing that's been happening again, which is getting enormous. Like 80s retro wave, like total action movie music is coming back, and it's hefty synth based. And I've been using that, and even my metal music that I write, I've been using that. I've been like personally even diving into synth seed first myself, and it is making a big comeback. Like I'm seeing it with everybody, even like Vukovi, like hefty synth work. Like if you go see them live, we put the synths higher than everything else. We want it to feel like you're at like a dance gig, and then there's some rock behind it, and it works as you said. It's elevating people.
Yeah. No, they've done well with that, and it'll be interesting to see where they go. Yeah, they're dipping their feet into that. It's a decent first tune as well, really good, quite catchy. 2 or 3 listens, I've got to admit, 2 or 3 listens. I still got to try and get Lyle's the Ranzas out my head, because I listened a lot to their previous band, the Ranzas, so I've still to try and get that out my head. But then when you get into this song, it's his vocals good. I like the wee bit with this where he sings "son," but he does Liam Gallagher's it. He kind of just sings "sa," and then the kind of harmony comes. It's just wee cool things like that. That I mean, these are young guys that are just working their way in music and just building things. Really hope they do well. All right, Andy, your turn this week.
I'm keeping it the family again this week. Second time on the podcast. Tony's went and done it again. Tony went and done it again. Released another hip hop track.
All right, cool.
In collaboration with a guy called Ryan Mowat, which he, as far as I know, done all the the tune for it, and Tony's done all the lyrics for it. So don't know where he's pulling it from, don't know what he's doing with it, but it's brilliant.
Here we go
Listen to
then.
the last one. So let's go.
Tony Strachan, so it's Mowat,
Run Up.
Tony and Run Up.
She sober, laying on my bed, she thinking things over. When she going bad, she 2 years over. She gon' break my back, goddammit. At least when I run up like I know I'm gonna have it. Playing these games in my mind like a console. One more night spent here and I gotta go. You know I got the things that you want, but your man ain't got them. You know we got that gang and we can run up, we can stop. So don't try and think it should be wise. We try to play the two, cause go ain't no different, and you know that I won't stop them too. My man can bring it up when I gotta pick it up. You know won't be sick enough to take you home from the club. They say I gotta chill, but I ain't find no time. I think my body does it sucking, otherwise I know I'm enough to shoot. You been playing with my mind, now I'm in my lane. Cause I went and dropped your rest, now everybody's saying, what's he like, where we been, what's his fucking name? The girl in my DM said she's saying that you know she be lame. You been playing with my mind, now I'm in my lane. Cause I went and dropped your rest, now everybody's saying, what's he like, where we been, what's his fucking name? The girl in my DM said she's saying that you know she be lame.
You can't rap without saying fucking.
That's all about shagging and all that. Tony! Come on, son!
There is a story behind Tony Stephen. I mean, Tony's first tour he done, Stephen took them on tour and took them under his wing, took them to all the cool places and told them all the wrong things.
Oh, so you know Tony Stephen?
I knew Tony before I knew Andy.
Yeah, and what do you? So Tony's like he's into his metal. I mean, when we did the Bring Me Horizon thing, he was loving being on doing that. So, what do you make of that? Because he's a very, very, very good wee producer. Like some of the stuff he does is amazing.
The band that I had Tony out with, he wasn't a fit. He wasn't a fit, and they got shot at him. But that happens to everybody. I've been in fucking dozens of wee bands. But Tony then came out and trampled everything they did. The first demo he let me hear after he left that band, I was like, Tony's going to go further than this fucking band. And his songwriting's coming leaps and bounds. His production's fucking, he's getting there. He's getting there. He's got the technical chops. Like he's getting the technical chops, but his style will grow. Yeah. Like, if you know what I mean, that'll grow over the years, and he'll develop his sound, his guitar sounds, his whatever sounds. Like he'll develop his style. He's fucking killing it.
22. He's got hundreds of time to go. But see, like that's two he's done. He's done that, and then he did the kind of Japanese sounding one before.
That's right, yeah.
And they two are just nicely forging into each other. So it'd be quite nice if he next done an EP. Because see how I'm one for like organisation. See when you get into all these streaming sites and you want, it'd be quite good to do an EP with a headline and then 3 tunes. So it's not just all singles and all that. They two together would have been great. But see, right now it's getting it all out. Bob, you're selling that. What do you think of that?
Well, obviously, I like hip hop and rap. And I love the last one the wee man done because and I only heard it on here. I didn't know what to expect there, to be honest with you. But because that kind of fast hip hop beat and the rapping going across, it's not my favourite style of hip hop. But I think the beats behind that can actually get a melodic run to it, which it sounded a lot better than I was expecting, and actually honestly I really enjoyed that. You man's done well again.
If you think it like objectively, see in regards to the style of what that sort of stuff is, like I'm no into that sort of stuff myself, but I can see that he's ticking the boxes, he's hitting the points. Like it's well done. It is well done. I'll give him that.
The next stuff coming is just going to blow your mind though. I know what's coming next, and I've heard what's coming next. By God, that is.
Tony's saying organisation and me don't go, considering the tunes are so many different genres. Yeah, that's what he does do. He's he's trying everything, isn't he?
Fucking life lesson for wee Tony here. Don't worry about the genres. There's only 2 fucking types of music. There's good and bad. That's it. Yeah. Just write music. Get it out.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all you can do.
No, but I like his journey. I keep saying this before, Andy. Remember the time we got him up to him and his band up to Dunmelliton to play a gig, and they were all young boys. and how they've come on. And then I think that was the band he was in that you were talking about that you toured, and then he left.
No,
them.
that was Wagon Road at the time.
No, I know he was in Wagon Road. Then he went with another band.
He went to Bearers of the Divide.
Yeah, and that's Glasgow. The band that he left. Yeah, and then I think you were kind of worried. Where's he going to like? Is he going to feel doing after that? But he
went to Dancing with Dakota after that.
Aye.
And then left. And let's not say too much about that. And then he's just went on from there, you know. We weren't too sure.
He was 15 at that gig in Dunmelton. Excellent, Tony. Well done. Keep it up, my man. We'll support you. We'll support you evermore. Right. So my choice this week is a guy that I've kind of slagged a bit in this. And the reason being, it's Coochie Cash, all right? And he played a tune, David Blair from 23 Music Management put on a gig the other week there. And Coochie shared a live video and playing it, looked cool as anything, and I really liked this song he was playing. Now the reason I was I'd heard a song he did called the Buckfast song, right? And it was like it would have got him a following, right? Because it was quite a quirky wee song, but it was very cheesy, but folk loved it, so that got him a following. But I think what also got him a following was like he's very like Jerry Cinnamon, and I had in my head that is this guy trying to copy Jerry Cinnamon? Like it was like he could surely do better, because I heard him doing a couple of cover tunes. So then he brings a song out like this, and I'm putting it on, and I'm going, guaranteed he's bringing this song out, I'm going to listen to it. And I thought it was going to be Jerry Cinnamon, like with the kind of like the wee laugh in between. And I just loved it, because he went that route. He's put a kind of band behind it. It's a brilliantly written song. It's very catchy, and I've listened to a lot of his other stuff as well, and it's very good. So I'm putting my hands up to say I'm now a fan of him, and I hope he does really well, because you don't put it this way, you don't need to love everybody. And see, sometimes I hate when I don't know about yourself, but I hate when you do a gig and you come off and then everybody's going, that was brilliant. You know yourself that wasn't that good. But then you've got people you go to speak to who'll tell you as it is. And I think sometimes it's good to have folk. It's sometimes good to have folk though that are saying like, so I wasn't into the Buckfast song, but I'm into this. So here's Only by the Night, Coochie Cash, his new tune, superb.
Seems that a history repeats itself. This little town has turned to hell, gripping so many good ones so tight. There doesn't seem to be an end in sight. Only by the night, only by the night. Patiently wait for headlight flashes. He's selling classes to the masses.
There I go. Say that again. It's Coochie Cash, no Coochie Cash. It's Coochie. But I personally love that tune. I love the wee guitar lick in it as well. And that's, for that genre that he's getting into, superb. And I hope he does really well, because he's got the following, he's got the voice, and he's got the charisma as well. He's quite a likeable guy, you know. So what do you think of that, Bob? I think, have you had Coochie?
We were talking about it before lockdown, and what I liked about him, the guy made the approach himself. You know, it wasn't through anybody else. It was he just messaged me. I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb, guys. I mean, I've heard a few things he's done now, and I think he's better than Cinnamon. I'm sorry to say, I think he's and I think he's going to grow. He's going to be about longer than what Cinnamon will be. I know he's sold out the stadium and things like that, but I think there's a shelf life for Jerry Cinnamon, to be honest with you. I think that boy there can grow and grow and grow. If he keeps putting effort in, always still a young boy. But no, we can't actually wait to get him up. He has got a following.
Yeah,
a good following. And I really enjoyed that song as well. It was good.
Stuff. Stephen, are you into that kind of type of thing?
Aye, if it's done well. What I'll say is, for that, I was getting Frank Turner vibes.
Yeah.
I was getting sort of laid back punk vibes. I had this sort of English type vibe, which was taking me on to like. I actually had to Google it. The Riverboat song. There was a vocal turnaround they did at the end that was very like the lyric. Well, like the vocal approach in the Riverboat song by Ocean Colours.
Yeah.
And I'm into that. And as far as it goes, like I'm a great believer, as you say, you can't like everything, and I think he's better than Jerry Cinnamon. But that's just I like Jerry Cinnamon, but I couldn't be at one of his gigs. I could be at one of this guy's gigs.
No. Yeah.
Like I couldn't imagine myself standing in a crowd at a Jerry Cinnamon gig. Like no my type of people, no my type of fun. Like the Tea in the Park crowd, no my thing.
I've actually been at a Jerry Cinnamon gig. I've been in the middle of a Jerry Cinnamon gig, and it was fucking brilliant.
It's not my gig, man. But I see why people like it, and I can, like as I said before, I see what boxes it's ticking, and I can what's making it happen. But it's not for me.
Excellent.
But this guy is though.
Yeah. So that's Kutchy Cash, the Ninth Wave, La Club Royale, and Tony Strachan and Mowat. That's
Right,
with Pelikan 4 this week. So before we go into the album, Sarah Brown's watching just tonight. So even Happening Troops. So Sarah's watching. Alana Anderson's watching tonight. Sarah liked the pick. And
I better not say anything because she'll be straight back on it and give me absolute dog's abuse probably.
Tony's saying your camera's looking sexy, Stephen.
I've got to get you in front of it, Tony, then it'll go up one.
Lyle Kennedy, the singer for La Club Royale's watching, so he's saying legends.
Cool. Hit me up if you want some promo pictures.
Yeah, that's it.
Always working.
Let's see. Charlie Stratton's watching tonight as well.
Right,
Charlie?
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Okay then. Right, so this is where Andy and Stephen get their chance to... Now, I've got to say, I don't know about you, Bob, but when it was Dream Theatre, and we go to the link on Monday, and I'm like, I've never fucking heard this band in my life. And then I get the first part of the first tune, and I'm like, is this some sort of fucking like hypno thing? But then it was weird. I was like, what the fuck are we getting this week? And then obviously get into song 2, and it's like, oh yes. So, but I didn't realise that Dream Theatre are absolutely fucking massive. So, guys, let us know between the two of yous about Dream Theatre. Off yous go.
I mean, Dream Theatre to date, 14 studio albums, do you know what I mean? And they started in 1985 under the name Majesty by John Petrucci, which is the guitarist, and John Myung, who's a bass player. And they were all students at Berkeley University in America. And they started off, which gets me, it's brilliant, as a Rush and Metallica cover band. That was the beginnings. And listening to this album, I'm like, yeah, totally get it.
You can see it, 100%, 100%.
Totally get it. It's like there, and then if you mix in, like I was looking at a lot of the stuff for it, and there's 3 original members, is that right, Stephen?
Yep.
3. And then they replaced Portney.
Derek Sherinian got replaced for Jordan Rudess on keys.
Yeah.
But I think there was actually a guy before Derek Sherinian on keys as well. But,
was it not Magina?
No, they've replaced the drummer with Mike Mangini. No, I was going to say Mangina, but that's not it. That's not it, Stephen. No. But that was the album before they switched drummers was the one that I signed off for them on, and I've just not really enjoyed it the same since. Because I think there was turmoil within the band. It came through on what was it, Black Clouds and Silver Linings, I think was the last one I tolerated. But amazing band. Like this album that I've chosen is actually a sequel to a song from a previous album. Because there was a Metropolis Part 1, The Miracle and the Sleeper, has a bunch of themes and stuff that they've basically expanded into a fucking hour and a half album. that's insane. And that's why I chose it, because it's just ridiculous that to make part 2 of a song, they wrote a fucking album. Like, this album in particular is actually, here's some facts that I've learned over the years for being a total prog snob, which doesn't happen often now. This is the first one that they produced on their own without external producers coming in, and it's the first one that was recorded on Pro Tools, like digitally, without tape.
Right.
So that's actually mental, and they've been kind of sticking to that formula since, I think.
I mean, the thing that got me is there's a whole story about this album.
Yep.
So instead of going in track by track, I know, and I hope I've got this right, and Steve will absolutely slate me if I don't, that each part of this has that layer of story. And I've got each part of the story per song, so I can tell you exactly, hopefully.
Well, I know the gist. Right. I know the gist of the story, but I didn't know it part for part, song for song.
Yeah,
like, I know when lyrics happen, what's happening.
Yeah.
Because there's like astral projection and fucking all sorts going on at one point. I think like somebody's inside somebody else's body living their story and all this fucking madness.
Aye, no, it's. I mean, it creates. For me, it was almost like delving in, and I had to go back and forth with a lot of things. So I started delving back into Rush again. Love Rush.
Oh, they're amazing.
So I was going to listen to Rush because there was certain bits in the songs I was hearing, Rush styles, but then I also found myself dipping back into The Wall by Pink Floyd.
Yep,
because if you listen to
it's
that,
hefty Pink Floyd influence, man.
It's very, so basically what I was doing is I was taking Rush and Pink Floyd and putting them together, and I'm thinking, this is my group. This is it. This is like me forever.
Like they're very known for at shows just pulling out a few Rush songs and just doing them. And they done the Dark Side of the Wall album in full at shows. They were doing on the actual Metropolis Part 2 tour in 2000. They did 2 nights in every city. First night they did Dark Side of the Moon. Second night they did Metropolis, which is mental, and I missed it.
Crazy. I mean, mate, the videos and all that, basically they get the concept from watching the Genesis Alarm Lies down on Broadway, is that right?
Yep.
Tommy by The Who, Radiohead's OK Computer was another concept they took it from, supposedly. Sgt. Pepper's, which Marillion, Misplaced Child, The Wall, and there's so many influences, and I think you can hear
it was their first concept album. They've done a couple since. Like one of the other ones that I was going to pick was Octavarium. The concept behind that musically is that it's the key. Oh, the first song's like The Root of All Evil, and it's in F, and then every song goes up a step until it finishes on Octavarium, which is in F, which is just music geekery. Total wank stuff, man. It's so crap, but I love it. Like I can't get enough of the actual garbage stuff. Like when I was a wee guy, we were geeking out at it so much that we found out that at one point there's a symbol that rattles at a Morse code line that says "Eat my ass and balls." So when we went to see them, we were these tiny metalhead guys, our first ever prog band that we were into, and we wrote on their tour bus in big letters in the dirt, we wrote "Eat my ass and balls," and security came out and were like, "You can't write that there," and we were like, "It's fucking song lyrics, you don't know the band." And I was looking back, I'm so embarrassed at myself, but it's so weird because I rarely listen to anything that isn't skate punk these days, but this album I can still rattle on. Like they've got one track that do you know Martin from Martin that plays in Vukovi, sorry, the drummer. We were driving once and the track, oh my god, I'm blanking trying to tell the story. I'm blanking. The big fast instrumental guy. Oh my god.
Was it Beyond
Dance of Eternity. Sorry, my head's just, I'm trying to think about the story a million times faster than I can tell it, but it's got like over 70 key signatures in it, and to count it's incredible. But I sing the whole song beat for beat, like whilst it was on, and all that Martin could say was like, "Are you sure you're not a virgin? Like, come on." And it's just like, you know how you've got at parties, everybody would stick on the one album. Like the cool guys stood in the kitchen, they would rattle on the cool album or stuff like that. We had this. We were the sad wee prog guys stood in a fucking kitchen screaming time signatures at each other and talking about arpeggios and all this crap. But that's what the album means to me. It takes me back to then, but it's also a fucking ridiculous piece of work. Ridiculous piece of work. And I'm so excited to like just listen to it forever.
Okay, brilliant. Bob, what about yourself? When you we'll obviously come to each kind of track, and as I say, I don't know how hard it'll be for you, like me, like because it is a concept album. But had you heard of Dream Theater before? Or
only by the name, if you know what I mean. I hadn't really listened to any of their stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm about a long time, but when I get, you know, I'll do it when Tommy Boy we couldn't do it. I'll do it. Then I saw it and I went, what the fuck have I done? because you know what I'm like. But one thing I always like to listen to different music, and that's why I've got a broad opinion in a lot of things. But when I first, I've got to tell you, for this is typical me. I actually was in the bath and I put it on and on YouTube. I was like, what the fuck is this? The first song came on, I'm going, what is this? It was a fucking advert on YouTube. And I'm thinking, listen to this for 12 songs. I'm not listening to this.
Ooh, body form for you.
Then I go into it and I'm going, like, okay, then the talking starting. I'm going, okay. I'm going, oh no, this is a prog rock album. I'm not going to enjoy this at all. But I'll be honest with you, I said it. I mean, the scores quite reflect how much I thought of it. I thought it was a cracking album. Album, and then it really brought. I mean, I've got a lot of different albums, like they kind of you can take concept with the War of Worlds and stuff, different tunes and different sounds, and there was everything in this album. I'll be honest with you, and I really enjoyed it. I must admit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of got a bit of War of the Worlds, but we'll come to other kind of what we think it is, but we'll quickly go through. So Metropolis 2, Scenes from a Memory, it's their 5th studio album, and it was released in October the 26th, 1999. Recorded at Bear Track Studios in Suffern, New York, where the band had previously recorded their 2nd album in 1992. God, they've been up it for years. The album is a sequel to Metropolis, as Stephen was saying, part 1, The Miracle and the Sleeper, which was a song which was on that album, Images and Worlds. And this was also the first album to for John Roods to appear on keyboards as well, who's now part of the band. For the album's 20th anniversary, the band performed the album live in its entirety throughout. I quite like that idea with bands. Do you know, like when a band plays a gig and they play like they have it in like 2 acts, and the first act's them doing like their full album, like from start to finish, because a lot of the times when bands are playing, they don't play some of the album tracks. Do you like that? I'm trying to think of a band that's done. I think the Charlatans did it no long ago with Telling Stories or something. Do you like that idea?
I've done it twice, man. I've done I've done Metropolis Part 2. I've done that 2020 actually. I think early 2020, right before COVID, they did, or was it December 2019? I can't remember. I did it there, and I've done The Wall at the Millennium Dome as well. Seeing an album start to finish is just it's so good, man. The immersion factor just jumps through the roof.
The Wall blows my mind.
Oh, dude, it's it
blows yours, boy. No,
it's
Bob.
9.5 out of 10 compared to the 10 that this album is for me.
All right, okay.
I'm the elevator in.
I'm cool with that.
The fans had previously requested a sequel to the first part of the song Metropolis Part 1 from Images and Words, but the band had not yet been able, nor had they originally intended to make one, because the name Part 1 was added by Pt.2 as a joke. So that's how they came about doing this. It showcased the traditional prog rock sound according to the making of scenes from a memory video. Some of the influences are from the following concept albums, like what Andy had said. So that's all the albums there. Is Radiohead's OK Computer a concept album?
Aye.
Is it?
I think it is,
Aye.
See, a concept album, right? Like, I listened to this album in the van, and then I'd listened to it a few times, but I really get into it the night when I was just walking around the garden. Like I was just trying to get my steps up and I had the earphones in, and I get right into it. But I was trying to get the concept. I was trying to get like the story, but you guys will then fill us in, obviously. But see one of the biggest concept albums of all time, Dark Side of the Moon. What is the story about that? What's the story with Dark Side of the Moon? You know, like is it a story?
Is it no?
The Wizard of Oz? No.
Is it not about the space? Is it not all about the space race and things like that at the time it was going on? It was just all about the headlines that were going on at the time and how everybody was trying to overcome each other and
like they say Sergeant Pepper's a concept album. In fact, here you go, this is our second concept album, because seemingly Sergeant Pepper's a concept album. But I don't see the concept in that apart from a few tunes that are like the kind of circus type thing. But anyway, but these albums were shown in that video on the table called Inspiration Corner. So let's see, how was it critically acclaimed? Well, it ranked number 95 in the October 2006 issue of Guitar World's magazine, listed the greatest 100 guitar albums of all time. I was doing a YouTube rabbit hole the other day there, and there's a guy on YouTube that rated Watch Mojo's top 10 most difficult guitar solos of all time. So this guy that's right into his guitars is like that, right? Watch Mojo, it's a kind of top 10 type thing. The guys that are doing it aren't really going to be able to, they're not going to know what a hard guitar solo is. And so they did the top 10. So I think number 10 was number 10 was a Smiths tune. And the guy's like, I think it was a Charming Man or something, and he was doing that guitar solo. He'd obviously never heard it, and then he got it by ear, like straight away, but he could not do a Dream Theater was number 6 on the list, and he couldn't do a Dream Theater solo. He said it was so difficult. He couldn't get it straight away. Aye. But I think he kind of said that this band Dream Theater were like they're well known to be, their musicianship's amazing, and you hear that in the album. It's ranked the 15th greatest concept album of all time by Classic Rock magazine, and the Rolling Stone magazine voted it number 1 for the favourite prog rock album of all time.
Nice.
And this is the members of the band. James Labrie, lead vocals. I've got a lot to say in his lead vocals as we're going through it.
Oh, I'm not right. I'll tell you this now. It's worldwide, right? That everybody says if they had a different singer, they'd be the best band in the fucking world. He's like, if you think it, somebody once said, Dream Theater are like taking you through the top of the sky, like the best thing there fucking is. And James Labrie is the anchor that keeps them grounded and stopping them from being the best band in the world.
Oh, like, I was so
but it's when he goes and he's got that in his voice, and you just kill him, man.
Stephen, I was so nervous to say that, but I just try and be honest when I'm doing this, and I was so nervous to say that to you. It's like some songs he suits, but other songs it's like Justin Timberlake singing a metal tune. Do you know what I mean? I agree with that.
It does not work, man. Like I'll outright say that. They're my favourite, like as a band, my favourite rhythm section, my favourite guitarist, my favourite keyboardist. But I fucking hate the vocals.
So I take it John Petrucci, he's the kind of main man, the guitarist.
Well, up until Portnoy left, because Mike Portnoy used to write everything. Like he controlled arrangements, he controlled like what was going to happen, the pace of the songs and everything. But then he was letting others write the lyrics, and then when he left, that's when everybody sort of had to jump in and actually take part, because they weren't as good with him, I think.
Yeah. What did you find in the band, Andy? Like I seen who's the drummer again? The drummer is Mike Portnoy or whatever.
Aye.
I seen a thing on YouTube where they were doing their drum. They were kind of auditioning a new drummer. There's a thing on YouTube. That was quite cool as well to see that. Andy, you're selling this album, like just your kind of. Had you heard of Dream Theater before?
I'd heard of Dream Theater before. It's not something that that I would have went to, and then bringing this album, I mean, I've not put it down. Absolutely phenomenal. And I knew.
Have you bought an actual album? Like,
No. I've just put it in the Sonos, but
all right. Just when you said you couldn't put it down, I was trying to be funny, but you never your head.
Oh, all right, no, I never clicked it, mate. Sorry, but still sleeping. That's what I'm saying. Scott phoned me this morning, man, and I was like, 100 things going on in my head. I just woke up and I couldn't make. I was like, and then it wasn't until this afternoon I'm trying to compute what he was thinking again. I was like,
I never phoned him this morning, Bob. I phoned him at fucking 11:30.
That's a small one.
That is just more than no, but no, bass player John Myung, Ernie Ball's bass player, heavy on the promotion of them all the time. So I'd heard of him. John Pt.2, I've heard of him just through the guitar scene. Probably rated one of the best guitarists of all time. You know,
yeah, I've seen his name.
He's absolutely phenomenal. But Myung for me, it's just You look at, like, say, a Geddy Lee, you look at Bootsy Collins, all the kind of the older generation bass players. I mean, they must be looking at him now thinking, man, we're really that bad, because this guy is just phenomenal. You know,
he's got the chops, man. He's got the best chops. But I've got my criticisms of him as well. So that's another thing.
There you go.
Oh, definitely. Like, see, every time he's given a verse where it's just him, drums, and a wee bit synth, it always goes to an octave groove, and it's just he's typecast, but he can play whatever's put in front of him. Just
that's a staple though for MD. I do that.
But see, when you're dealing with such big things, and you could do like dance around the chord inversions and stuff, it always goes to just the straight up like big groove, but with octave and maybe a hammer onto the octave, and it's like, I know you've got to do that, but what could you have done? But he writes the perfect part for the song. It's still the perfect part. It's always the sort of same.
Excellent. Right, here we go then. So, as Stephen had said at the start, he was going, there's only fucking 19 seconds worth of track. Guys, if you are watching, get listening to the album. Just whack it on. Just go through it. The album is an hour and 17 minutes long. So it is long. There's a couple of 11-minute songs in there as well. But
belters.
Get into it. Like, put it on, go for a walk. It's got something for, I think Tony actually had put that up there. Tony had said, I do think this album's one that's got a bit of everything, and it has got a bit of everything, so it has. So it's great stuff.
One thing we've not picked up on yet is there's one of the tracks is just a heavy Christian rock anthem, which if you're into Christian rock, which I'm no, it's still
I've seen it
good.
in South Park. I've seen Cartman's band in South Park.
That's basically what they sing in the one song that comes up.
It's one of the best episodes of South Park ever. It's just such
Faith
a bad
+1.
person.
Aye.
That's it.
I love you, Jesus.
There he is. There's David Blair watching. David, he did Let It Be, so he came on and did Let It Be. We were talking about David Eller because he's another guy that 10 out of 10 album for him, Let It Be. And we were like, you can't give every song a 10. And he's like, you can, and I'll tell you why. And he did. He told us why it's a 10, and that's all you can ask for. And David's also from 23 Music Management, the 23 Universe, part of the Colonel Mustard and the Dijon 5 as well. And he's also Kutchi Cash's management company. So nice. We played Kutchi's song earlier. I keep saying Kutchi. But anyway, okay then, let's get into this album. So, tune 1, scene 1, and this one's called Regression.
Lost in the haze of a dream, and as I draw near, the scene becomes clear, like watching my life on a screen.
It's really difficult, isn't it? Because each song's got about 48 million different parts. It's just trying to pick the best one to get into. But anyway, we'll come to yourself, Stephen.
Most important part of this song you've got to remember is the first chord is a D minor, which is the last chord a Part 1 Miracle in the Sleeper.
Oh, love this shit.
Oh, chills.
Andy, how much do we love all that shit?
That's magic,
Don't
isn't it?
Well,
Oh.
and then the next line after what we heard, hello, Victoria, it's so nice to meet you again. My friend, sorry, that's when he's just been put under his hypnosis. And he's like gone to the memories, he's past life, and we'll get to that.
So, Regression, did you've scored it as a 10 out of 10 because you've given the album a 10 out of 10. So
exactly, I either listened to the whole album or I didn't.
yeah, it's quite hard to kind of go through each tune, but
Yep.
you can give us, as we go through each song, you can give us a wee bit on it, bits you've picked in it like you did there, and then we know your score's a 10. But what we'll do is we'll come to Bob then. So me and Bob are the kind of newbies to this band, so that's where we're coming from. Andy, you're a massive fan, so we've always got the massive fan, and then one of the three is like just below you, and then the other two have usually not got a fucking clue. So we just listen to it kind of thing and just see what we think. So we'll come to you, Bob.
I think this song kind of suffered for being the first track of the album that I wasn't prepared for, or I didn't know what to expect. To be honest, I've listened to it a few times, and I scored it a 6, but it should have been higher, I think. But it suffered because it was the first song on an album I'm not scared to admit that. I wasn't prepared for when I first started listening to it and think, Jesus, I'm not going to like this. So it kind of scored low for me on that, as you'll see for the rest of my scores. But it was a good, if you listen to it, it's a good tune, but I think it's a bit different. It seems to go for the then bang on to something completely different. I suppose that's what a concept album's all about, yeah.
It's one of them, man, being the first track and talking about song dynamics as well as album
How
dynamics.
fucking good is that camera you've got, by the way?
If I go to my autofocus is off, so it can look very bad or it can look sharp. But as I was saying there, like it being the curse of the first song, in the same way, setting track dynamics and album dynamics, like for a production standpoint, I get what you're saying. It starts and it's kind of flat, it's kind of lackluster, but it is that old. You can't go fast with it going slow, and that's why the next song it's barrel bah, and it comes in with the next track, and I get what you mean. The first time I heard it, I rated it very low as well. I was like, oh, what's this crap? Before we get to the good stuff, but the old man in me now has grown into thinking, nah, you've got to go slow before you can go fast, and that it makes it more an essential piece of the puzzle, as well as like the wanky storyline concept stuff that it's introducing. But I get it. I get this. I get the 6. I agree with your 6. I agree with it. On a first listen, on a first listen perspective.
Yeah, Andy.
Brilliant! I love all this chat, man. It's tremendous. The Scenes for a Memory basically opens by Nicholas, a troubled man going through regression therapy and a hypnotic trance. He begins to see a girl named Victoria Page, which was her name, I believe, and a life that feels strangely familiar, despite the fact he's never been there. So that's what this is setting up, right? So I started listening, and I got it straight away. The reason being is that I know, Scott, you're going to go off on one, right? Because you listen to Roger Waters' The Wall. He's in a graveyard talking to his dad. And and there's a lovely acoustic guitar playing over the top of it. Do you know what I mean? So, and it just reminds me of setting the scene. And then the next thing, boom, you've got a bomb going off. You know what I mean? You've got time coming in, you've got something. And it's just the exact same concept, and it's brilliant. I love it, And that first song, it just takes you away, and it sets that scene of that dream, that that kind of dream state, and being, and trying to find yourself a wee bit. I gave it an 8, brilliant, great, but that's what it gave me, was that chills that Pink Floyd every time I listen to them. At the start of this kind of album gives me.
Excellent, Andy. I think I didn't know this before the start as well, Stephen. I didn't realise that what you've got to realise as well. They put their cards on the table straight away by saying that they've decided to do a concept album by being influenced by all the albums we spoke about earlier. So their cards on the table straight away. So nobody can say, oh, it fucking sounds like this or that, because that's what they want them to say. They're like that. It sounds like that. You're fucking beauty, because that's how we wanted it to sound.
Score.
And then to come into going off tape and get into Pro Tools like so early, like, because that wasn't a massive thing back in 1990. So they've got this new toy and they're trying to play with it, and they've come out with this. So the first song for me, when I first heard it, I was like, what the fuck is this, right? But listening to the whole album, getting off, I've written, I didn't know what to expect. Then the acoustic bit, I was like, is this a Pink Floyd tribute type thing? But I get it now. I get it why it's like that. And after listening to the whole album and getting it was a concept album, I liked it. I really do like the guy at the start kind of grew on me because he comes in at the end. And I do like the kind of acoustic thing, but I gave it a 6.5 to start the album off with because of what's coming as well. So I was trying to be kind of honest with it. So a decent start to the album anyway, and it's only a minute odd long. So 7.63. So
2 minutes and 6. 2 minutes and 6.
Is it 2 minutes and 6, is it?
2 minutes and 6, aye.
Okay, the next track is Scene 2. Quite like how they do all this, like Act 1, Scene 1 and all that kind of stuff. So this is Scene 2, and this is Overture 1928. Oh,
right.
Brilliant.
See that guitar run there? That's dual on bass, but see, originally on the first demo of this, because they did a demo version of the album, the run's just like do 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 do, and it's so shite. But then on the album version, they did the they did it in the quads, and it's it's triplets. 1 2 3 1 2 3. It's triplets, and that fucking run just blows me away. Mm-hmm. It absolutely blows me away. Like, that was the first piece of progressive music, like technical progressive music I ever tried to learn, and I thought it was doing well because like introduced wee concepts like there's the big chords, like the big D chord, the da, but then it goes to a weird inversion of the D, and then I was like, whoa, I'm cool, I'm learning this. And then I seen the tab, and then it went, and I was like, nah, I'm out. And just put my guitar down, and I just left the house. Like,
it's amazing how fast you can folk like that play the guitar. Like, that's
it's
really
ridiculous,
impressive.
man.
And the drums as well. So obviously that's a 10 out of 10. Bob, you're selling this one?
I got to give you a wee bit of info on this. It's not even about the song, but I gave it an 8 out of 10. See, when I first heard that, I actually wrote a review for PCN magazine for Glenn Hughes at Oran Moore. And see, when I heard that song, the reason it caught me was it was like a song Glenn Hughes performed. It was his style at Oran Moore that night. And it's strange when you hear a song, it takes you back somewhere. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I put that song there to the likes of Glenn Hughes, I automatically sat up and took notice a bit more about the album and started taking it a lot more serious. And I gave that an 8 because I actually thought the guitars and that, the bass, everything was absolutely spot on. It was all over. Just kept you going right through. It was a beautiful track.
Who's Glenn Hughes, Bob?
It was Deep Purple, I think he was in.
Oh, was he?
He went solo and played.
They play a few Deep Purple cuts as well live sometimes, like Dream Theater Day, and it's some of their heroes as well. So it's cool that you can hear that through that.
Brilliant, Bob.
Yeah.
Stud muffin. Right, okay then, Andy.
I mean, I've actually written loads of notes. I mean, this music's like right up my street. Crazy drums, amazing guitars, big keys building in, crazy time signatures, throughout this. But not so crazy compared to some of them. And towards the end, it's just, the time signatures play about. When go back, hello Amy. Go back to that bit. I was expecting so I had to rush straight in my head.
I'm gonna clip that bit.
You know,
Well,
and it just
send
You
the sound
just-
effect for you.
We're clipping that. We're using that sound, Andy, you just did there. Nice.
you know, and that was going back to the Geddy Lee influence, I think. You know, and that's what that, because you get Geddy Lee and the Guitarist for Us doing the exact same thing.
Yep,
and-
the unison parts that they run are very like Rush all the time.
Yes, all the time. It's the same with the drums, though. You know, even though I will say that Dream Theater for me now holds the record probably for the largest drum kit.
Oh, do they?
I did think it was him for Rush that had the largest drum kit on tour.
Nah, it's always been Terry Bozzio, man.
Oh,
Terry
man.
Bozzio every day.
Oh, aye.
Who's he, Stephen?
Fuck, I've only ever watched these like drum solo videos. I never got deep into him. Terry Bozzio.
So what do you give this, Andy?
I gave it an 8 again.
An
Brilliant.
8 out of 10. What I thought in my head was when I heard the first tune and then this Overture 1928 come in, I went, oh, here we fucking go. See the intro to it, I was like, yeah, fucking beauty, this is going to be brilliant. It's kind of off your head drums, and then it's got tremendous musicianship in it. There's this wee 3-minute odd songs, get loads going on in it. The guitars in the whole album are off the scale. I've got to say, like, this is a guitarist album as well. I'm not a guitarist, so but I can just listen to it, and when I listen to it, I'm thinking, oh, I need to tell him about this out. I need to tell him, but they'll probably all know about it. Do you know what I mean? Good guitarists should know about Dream Theater. But there's so much happening in 3 minutes, and I've gave it a 7. I gave that a 7 out of 10 for me. Cool. So let's see what the score is for that. It should be a bit better. Brilliant. 8.25 out of 10. So we're already getting into the 8s.
Respectable.
Early doors. Yeah. Okay then. So the next tune is, pardon me, Strange Deja Vu.
Definitely.
Up into that real world. Metropolis around me. The mirrors shattered the gale. Why is the top that light haunting me every day? I break through to the outside.
So that was Caitlyn Jenner there that was in the
Oh,
go Stephen. have I prompt something there?
give me a second. That song. So this song just fucking, it's just so big. Like it's effectively like, I think that part one of that, the song before, is just like the karaoke version to sing along with, if you're wanting to ignore the vocals. The vocals to this one, I think it actually does do well. I think James does well on this track. But live, he can't hit them. But the riffs are there. Like, it's just meaty.
Wow, he can't hit them. He can't hit that live.
No, dude, he chokes. He had a massive incident with his voice. I totally lost all his vocals for years, man. And now he's capped. He just can't hit the notes anymore.
So does he change the key they sing it at, or does he just sing it in a different tone?
He takes different melodies.
Oh, right,
Now
right,
he brings melodies down and stuff, and he started adding like a sort of scream, like a metal scream in places now that's just so out of place. It's weird, man. Like it's went to a weird place if you're a Dream Theater fan these days. But back then in the studio he can hit them because he's got days to warm up, he's got days to hit it. You didn't like, but this track for me, like, I think it's one of my favourites for the album. Like, as a package, like, it's got some of the big grooves. Like, there's like some of the stabs. There's like in between the bits of the chorus, and then they'll hear a bit where it's like, and then and they've got these like wee kickoffs and turnarounds and musically, it's just fucking. I throw them into all my tunes these days. Just these mad wee turnarounds and fills that mean nothing. But they're great.
Throw them in. So, see when you're saying you're throwing them into your tunes, is this the tunes for your own band, or for when you're writing?
For everything I've written since the day I heard this album, I've stole everything they've done and I just rework it for myself.
Brilliant.
But that's what.
So when I said Caitlyn Jenner, there, kind of
because I see as well. We've got this thing, right? I don't know if you want to search this on your own time, but just search for James Labrie fashion the guy, like, I'm not a fashion icon. I'm no like, but brown snakeskin trousers and just weird fucking tops, and he started his own brand now, and it's just, it's a fucking failure, man. Just search for James LeBrie fashion on your own without me. I don't want to see it again. But
I really hope he's watching when I say this. Glenn Mackay.
What's that?
Be
Oh,
Glenn.
what
snakeskin trousers.
Right.
Nobody needs snakeskin trousers, man. Nobody ever.
Who next guitarist does that?
Leave it on the snakes, man. It looked better.
Bob, you're selling this, Shane?
You're going to find that when I'm talking about these songs, I'm going to liken them to a lot of different bands because that's the only way I can.
Yeah, that's
you know, I
what
can
we want.
reflect it. But I actually probably you won't agree, but when I first heard that song there, I kind of got to a wee bit of kind of Black Sabbath vibe, a wee bit Ozzy in it when you the way the tune carried, and I quite like a bit of Black Sabbath now and again. I know people don't think that, but I do. I thought the song grew as it went on, and it grew to what you would. I've given it a 7. I probably again scored it low. Even those wee snippets, you say, "It's like, geez, you never listened to that enough. You never put enough thought into that. That's a higher score than that." But I gave it a 7, but it was a top tune in the album, to be fair.
Yeah, excellent. Andy?
I'll go with my score first. So I gave it an 8, but on my notes I've got Nazareth in there as well.
Lord,
you know,
coming out. We had the night, we've had The Cure, we've had Nazareth, we've had...
You know, but one of the things, again, the timing changes in it, and see the bass drums, how many is he using? Is it 4?
I think there's 4 on that kit, because he's got his wee kit and he's got his big kit at the front. But he's got his like wee cocktail type kit at the side.
Aye, because it's like 4 big bass drums, you know, and you can hear that towards the end of the song. Some of the blasts that are coming out, man, unbelievable.
It's the speed they can drum it to get in time and get that like that's like unbelievable.
It's just brilliant, and it's just got energy for the beginning. It's again the bass and the guitar sing really well in it, you know, and I gave it an 8 all day long again. Just brilliant.
An 8. Strange Deja Vu. I didn't think I'd like this, but it definitely grew on me because the musicality of the song, like the music in it's brilliant. But I was just trying to get, and I've actually you've brought it up, Stephen. But I said that like I think the vocal suits this. In some others, the vocal doesn't suit the music. That's what this. So this was me when I was getting into the vocalist. So it does suit, and I got that kind of, like as Bob said, I did get that 70s rock vibe for it. So I didn't think I'd like it, but it did really grow in me. I really got to like this tune as well. It was kind of like, especially again, and that's how you listen to them 3 or 4 times, 5 times in fact. I think I went through this album. It's a 7.5 out of 10.
Can I just say something
that as well
before we continue as well? So
yeah.
I forgot to say the next part. That part of the song is the story. So just before.
I heard we up to the new story wise, Andy, because I go for that.
Sorry, the overture and things like that. He learns that Victoria was murdered and in a past life, and then in this song, he begins to believe that Victoria is haunting him, and reveals the truth about her murder and things like that. So it's starting to kind of unwrap. You know? And
get into the next tune, Through My Worlds. What's that bit? What's happening there then in the story?
He's able to recall that Victoria started distancing herself from her husband, who was a guy called Julian Byers.
Julian? Yeah. Julian Byers.
Because he was drinking and gambling and he was addicted to cocaine and all that kind of stuff. And what happened was she then had an affair with his brother.
Good.
And she thought that because of this, that Nicholas had killed the Victoria.
Right.
So this is where it all starts to come together.
So this is up to Through My Worlds, track 4. Here we go.
We're sharing one eternity, living into minds, linked by an endless thread, impossible to break.
Just seen my notes in this one, but we'll come to you first, Stephen. It'd be interesting to see what you.
A much slower part in the album for me, but I dig it. It's another rhyme. It's necessary to go slow before you can go fast, go soft before you can go hard. It's just it just helps up the story along. Like, and it's just that song's just a vehicle for me. It's no one that I would intentionally, if I was hitting play on the album at a random point, I wouldn't stick to that bit. But it's necessary for the story, and it's just the same again. There's some nice chord inversions. There's a beautiful wee lead, and it totally harkens back to Dark Side of the Moon as well. This track, it's got the whole, like, I actually got goosebumps here thinking about it. But the whole fucking Great Gig in the Sky kind of vibes as well at the interlude.
Yeah.
Which
it's interesting you say that. There's another tune that I heard that in. Like the Greatest Gig in the Sky thing. There's another tune later in the
They did it later on as well,
I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay then, so Through the Worlds, Bob?
Well, I love melodic rock. It's been a big love of mine for a long time. I just thought that tune, I gave that tune an 8, but I didn't find a weak point in it. I fully enjoyed the full song altogether, and I don't know. Just sometimes when you hear a song and it's very melodic, you say, but I must have enjoyed. I'm eating a fig roll, guys. If I'd not tea all day.
No, go for it.
And I thought, it's a wee strange. By the way, I didn't even know there was a fucking story to this album. I'm sitting there, what story are we talking about? Who the fuck's Victoria? But anyway, so I'm learning, as I said, Steve, you get to know I wing everything. But
I'm into it.
I love that song, guys. I gave it an
8. Andy?
I'm the same. I gave it an 8, same as Bob. Again, it's Wait for Chaos, this mellow dream sequence. So it's just telling the story that well. Do you know what I mean? And if you read the story, even though you listen to it, you can see where exactly what the concept is. Then, do you know what I mean? And how they're building it, and it's just a phenomenal track again.
So this song was when he found out Victoria was killed by the brother.
So, hold on, I've got it all written down. I'll read my notes, right? Nicholas is able to recall Victoria's began distancing herself from her lover, Julian, is it Baines?
Just call him Julian. Just doesn't matter his surname, I don't know.
Julian. So, sought comfort in Julian's brother, Edward, and began an affair with him. Nicholas assumes that Julian murdered her out of jealousy and then killed himself. A story backed by a newspaper article covering the events, which cites a witness to doubt the series events and converses with an old man who was familiar with the case. There you go.
Holy shit, man. This album's put Domeliton on the map. Isn't it? All the things that are going on. Yeah. It's like all right, so you gave that an 8, Andy? Yeah.
Yep.
I think I don't know about your internet, Andy. I think you kind of paused a couple of times there.
Oh, I shat the bed for a while, like.
You kind of paused.
I don't know what's going on tonight. I don't know if because everybody's decided to go online. I'm on a podcast, so everybody will go online, and Tony will probably be streaming, and Amy will be streaming, and I'm like, fucking usual, isn't it?
Well, that's just what happens.
Sit closer to the router, man.
I put down, like, I didn't like this. I thought, is this a different singer? I wrote, it's nice, but as a single tune, it just wasn't for me. It works in the album structure. I get how that's in there. Like when I didn't know the story, but the his vocal just put me off the whole song and that. And it, I don't know. I think he could have sang it with more kind of urgency. It just sounded like a guy, like say it was an audition for a vocalist. I think you would have got. I think if he was to ask, can you go and do that again, he would have done it better. I don't know who wrote the song or wrote the part, but they should have said to him, that's not what I had in my head there, because This was one of the ones that the voice didn't suit. It just didn't suit for me. I didn't get it at all.
This was
6.5 I gave it.
This track. Just going by my notes.
Some of the vocals were written by the bass player, some of them were written by Petrucci. And I feel you on this one. I think he sung it in sort of a breathy falsetto, and it just didn't hear that. It didn't sound like he was in the room. It sounded like he was reading his notes to the track to the guys in the room.
That's like he was like, yeah,
right, and then it's it didn't seem like he was interested. But I don't know if that's maybe him trying to be a pseudo narrator or do something clever.
Yeah,
which
maybe
he might have been because they were.
It was maybe deliberate.
Wankers,
it was maybe deliberate. Yeah, and I've not been to the Prague School of Rock, so I don't know what they're thinking.
Right.
But that's what I got for it anyway. But still, decent score from the Pelikan Podcast through my worlds, 8.13 out of 10. Now, Andy, the next track's called Fatal Tragedy. So I take it this is the what's this happening here in the story?
Realisation that he will never be able to get on with his life until basically solves a murder. So this is where he's now taking the rabbit hole into trying solving the whole murder case.
Oh, this is brilliant. Fatal Tragedy, here we go.
Door and travel to another home. I met an older man, he seemed to be alone. I felt that I could trust him. He talked to me that night. Lad, did you know?
I fucking love that song so much.
I know, and the vocals brilliant in that. Right, Stephen.
This song's absolutely huge, man. Like, this is the first one with a proper bite to it, I feel. Like, the rest of them are like, they're happy proggy Rush stuff, but this one, I feel, is the first one in the album that's typically Dream Theater. Like, this is when they've put their aim spin on it, and you've got the pedal and the keys, like the bam, 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 and flattening it, and just the guitar, like, that was one of the first guitar lines after failing Strange Deja Vu that I could learn, and it's just so fucking heavy, man, and it's all in standard, like E standard tuning, and it's just heavy, so heavy, but I fucking love it. Like, see, if any of them I could join them on stage and play, it would probably be that one. I'd love to play that song.
But on lead?
It's so good. No, bass. Bass. I would not be. Plus, the bass is hard enough as it fucking is.
Yeah, I think Tony had written that earlier. Yeah. So I think we all like this. Bob.
I gave it a 7, but we see some of the scores I've gave. The problem based on the fact I didn't fucking know it was a story to the album. So I mean, because I was
these are so gibberish.
You know what I mean? What the fuck is that doing in there? How did you go for that to that? And now I'm learning. Every day's a school day. But I gave it a 7. I thought it was too heavy. I thought the beat was too slow, and the singing was kind of, it didn't match the beat for me. But hey, we're all different, aren't we? I didn't really like it. But I gave it a 7 because it was decent, but no, it didn't catch me.
But there's the thing, like, see, looking back at it now that you know it's a really sinister, heavy story, do you think maybe the sinister, heavy guitars are complementary to the story? Like, if you were to realise that was the vibe they were, it's one of them. It's all about how you approach it.
You get. Watch my face every time Andy tells it part of the story. I go up. That's an 9. But
I can't wait to the next tune.
Once you know about it, you go, that makes sense now. You know what I mean? There's a lot of times when you get not a bad track in an album, but a lot of times you find some albums, there's a track in it that doesn't sit there. What's that doing in there? That doesn't go on. And some of my favourite albums that happens. So when that came out, I went, what the hell's that doing in that bit from there to there? But then Andy started telling the story. I'm going, oh, I need to do more research in his album before I come on. But I give it a 7.
No, Andy does the research. We just listen, Bob. We're just listeners.
Listen and eat.
Listen and eat. Yeah. Andy, you're selling this. Oh, Andy's frozen. Totally froze.
I mean,
he's starstruck. He's blown away.
I thought he wasn't fucking happy with me when I saw his face.
He's back now.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
I was still
you're
here.
moving. I see you.
I got the. Have I got a delay?
Yeah, I think your internet's struggling. So just we'll no say
Right,
anything, you just go
let
with
me
your
jump
thing.
off and jump back on, guys.
Okay, mate, no bother. Yeah,
Right,
so for this, Shane, all right, go.
He's just got to reconnect, but starts talking again. It's live entertainment, guys. That's what we like. But this track, like as I said, it's just fucking huge, man. I just like some of the chords that they use. I'm fucking frightened I might pick up a guitar, but there's just some clever stuff that I'd never seen in music before that opened my eyes. Like they had like, fuck it, you'll hear it. They've got this. My strap. They've got this. So they've got the, and then we've got something like that. But they've got the Victoria's got like opening that to that A. Like, so it blew my mind when I first heard them do that, man. New concepts, new things coming to my ears that I'd never done in music, and it tickled my pickle as a young aspiring guitarist bassist.
So that was you. So you were listening to this album when it came out, yeah? Is this what you found?
I discovered this.
Discovered them later.
This album I hit about 2003.
Right. Okay.
A few years after it had been out, and it just it took me all the way through high school, and I kept listening to it all the way through college, uni, and to today, man. Like it still sounds as fresh as day one to me.
Brilliant.
Like when I hear it, which is wild.
Yeah. Hey, Andy, are you backways yet? How many fingers am I
so,
holding up?
2.
Okay. Right, Fatal Tragedy.
No, this song and the next 2 songs are the realisation, basically, and he wants to solve the murder now. So, but this here, listen to this. I like Muse. Muse as a band is something that I've always been into. And I can hear what's influenced them, especially in Petrucci's guitar tones and things like that in this song. You know, it just sounds like very Matt Bellamy has took that and said, I love that, I want to use that, I want to, you know, and you can hear that these guys have been somebody that's influenced, you know, newer bands, you know, and again, it's got everything. It's got, you know, descends into chaos, and it, you know, massive keys, builds amazing, time signatures changes again, big solos, you know, it's just got everything a song needs. I give it an 8, you know, it's just phenomenal.
It's funny that you say the whole Muse thing. Dream Theater fans that I talk to anyway, we've got theories. There's like certain songs are Metallica Dream Theater, certain are Rush Dream Theater. You've got Muse Dream Theater as well, which is when they try and do the sort of synth-based guitar versus keyboard stuff, which is what you're hearing. It gives it that sort of that plug-in baby guitar tone type thing happening. Like there's a lot of Muse in Dream Theater on this album, and the next few there's bits that they drop in, and it's very obvious that they're huge influences what's going on, but they didn't let on about it. Like there's a few songs in their earlier albums that sound like a band called Machine Head. They tried to do this whole like late 90s metal type thing, like Sepultura, Soulfly, Machine Head type stuff in some of their songs, and it was fucking crap. But
Sepultura. There's another band. There's another name for the past, Sepultura.
No, I did. I was coming up.
This up to now, this was my favourite tune in the album. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Very theatrical, vocal, and not in a bad way, by the way. It just suited really what was happening. 4 minutes in, it just becomes a different tune as well. It's just like superb. It changes a wee bit. Just mainly with the drums, I thought. But see at the end, the guitar tone, what he got in his guitar at the end of that tune, man, like that sound he got for his guitar, it just again like it paints a picture. And this is where the album was getting. I was never into musicals or that, but my wife's really into them, and she took me to Jesus Christ Superstar to see it, and like I just loved the musicianship of Jesus Christ Superstar, and this is where it was getting that kind of theatrical thing for me. See some of the kind of, especially with the longer songs when they're trying to tell a story, I could see myself sitting watching it in a big theatre, like with the orchestra and all that and everything, and absolutely brilliant. And that was this was one of these songs that just really, that guitar tone at the end was amazing. And it's no 7 minutes or something this is, but and there's some longer ones in this, but really, really good. I gave it an 8.
6 minutes 49.
I gave it an 8 out of 10. So Fatal Tragedy, 8.25. I believe that's that's up there with Overture 1928 as our best song. Still all 8s. So Regression was the intro. 8.25. Hemophidan 8.13, 8.13 and 8.25. So very consistent album at the moment. The lads are liking it. Next tune, Andy, what's happening here? Just the same, just trying to discover what's happening.
Just to try to discover, solve the murder, basically, and try and get it all unfolded.
Okay, Beyond This Life, and then you take over, Andy, for 2 seconds. Here we go.
His body fell across that poor young girl. After shouting out in vain, the witness went to call for assistance. He sat close to a broken love affair.
Oh, again, wow. I mean, it's just like, how do you go on? But we'll come to you again, Stephen, first.
Like the crescendo, like the story here is just fantastic. Like how they work it in. Like right there, it drops into the like radio effect vocal after that. That whole bit is like one of my favourite bits, and it's just class. It's totally driven. It's a momentous song. Like it just keeps pushing for it, and I fucking dig it, man. It's just so good. Like the riffs are good. The whole thing's just an experience to me, and it's fucking quality. And I get a 10. Oh, it's
you get a 10. Oh, it's a 10. Oh, it's a 10.
Like I'm actually going to listen to the full album after this is finished. Because
again,
like this is one of the first times I've ever sat and listened to it without hearing bits. Like hearing the full album in full. Like as I say, it's a rule that it's on or it isn't on.
I mean, definitely for me, I'll be going back to listen to it 100%. It is phenomenal. Bob, we'll come to you. Stub Muffin.
I thought that was Audrey shouting that there, was it? Anyway, listen. See, musically, that's a top tune, and probably in terms of the layout was probably my favourite song in the album in terms of music. But I thought that it needed a bigger voice. I don't know. I thought that I don't know his name. I'm not like huge rock fan, but let's say the singer from Metallica singing to that tune. I thought I would drive that song a lot better than what he did. I mean, it is a top tune. I've gave it 7.5, but I thought that the vocals just a wee bit weak for the musicianship in it, if that makes any sense.
I get that. It could have totally have done with a bit more bite. Like it's the same again. It's the maybe not even the lackey performance, but maybe a lackey ability on his part to get that performance. But as you said, James Hetfield is obviously one of their influences because they love Metallica and that. And I feel that if he'd have just took a bigger bite out the apple on that track, because as I said before, I said with the guitars, I was trying to convince you maybe the sinister guitars were because of a sinister story point, but this time it just seems like the angry song didn't have the angry vocal. Again, it was missing the balls. The balls were missing. It was missing his balls.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I just jumped in there. I totally agree with that, and I've marked this song down on that. So I still give it a 7. All right, but it goes. There's points that it's 7.4 and then 4.4 and then 7.4. And you're like, whoa, yeah. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. You're like, oh yeah, this is great. I love all that. And there's again, it's heavy riffs. But there was just something lacking. And now you're saying that about the vocals, it's hit me. It's the vocals that's lacking on that. I think if I had a bit, it's as if the vocals need to be more authoritative. If I don't know if that makes sense or not, but you want almost somebody. It sounded good, but it wasn't just punching it home for me. But the musicianship is just phenomenal. Like every song, it doesn't matter. I mean, you could talk all day about you know, about what they're doing, you know, musically, you'd be like, you couldn't fault it. There's no way you could fault it. But this, for me, I think it was just missing something, and you know, that something being that vocal, and I just wanted somebody just to punch it out more.
I think that it's a case of, on that track, it would have been nice to have somebody to tell you the story as opposed to read you the story. Like, same again, if they were to actually fucking be in your face and give you the importance of the story as opposed to just letting you decide how important the story is.
That's why I was saying about using the word authority, a bit more authority behind it, a bit more.
A bit more weight.
A bit more meat behind it as such. I know Scott has left us for a second. Oh, no, he's back. He's just come back in time there. I was just about to cut him short, and he's back. He's back. So we'll bring him on. Oh, sorry. I was bringing you in there, Scott, and I took you back off, right? So, Scott, you on this track, mate?
I like the kind of light and heaviness of the tune. I think this is the first one that really hit me, where it's the kind of light and shade, I think we usually say, but it's not really light and shade, it's like kind of slow and then goes heavy. It's like I've wrote here a total guitar wankathon. In this, like, if you're if you came, I'm like in the studio, Andy, when I'm wanting the guitarist to do a wee thing, I make the noises, man. That's the noises I make. They kind of
you sing it and you're like, play that.
I know. Can you do that? But absolutely superb. And I gave it a 7.5 out of 10, and it was very impressive, even although it's 11 minutes long. Like it kind of a great piece of work. Kutchi Cash is watching. Thanks very much for the play. Excellent, Kutchi. So
it's a good song, by the way, Kutchi.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, man.
Yeah, and we'll get that kind of down. Well, I've already downloaded it anyway. It's on my playlist. Okay then, so let's go on to the score for that tune, which 8.25, I think, again. Absolutely brilliant.
Again. It's just trucking along nicely, man.
It is. So the next tune, is he fun out who's killed her yet, Andy?
So no, this is still going to him trying to solve the murder, and it's after this song where the act ends and you're now into Act 2. So this is the last song of Act 1.
So this is called Through Her Eyes. Here we go.
She wasn't given any choice. Desperation stole her voice. I've been given so much more in life. I've got a son, I've got.
So,
right. Go.
This one, the technical side of it. I like this one because during this one, Mike Portnoy would go off stage and have his 5-minute break. That's why it's a drum. That's why it's a drum machine just. And obviously, like being a bass player, I love Pino Palladino. He's like amazing, but it's got a total Pino Palladino vibe to it with the fretless, and it's just it's such a tidy wee song, but it gets a bit preachy. I will say this is when it starts feeling all too Christian, in my opinion, which I'm not into.
I've just changed my notes there a wee bit. I was going to work out what the Christian rock tune was you were talking about in it, and I think you sped up. This is Cartman.
It's coming soon.
Bob, yourself in this tune?
I enjoyed it. I actually thought it was a sort of 80s ballad theme to it. It flowed along nicely, and I gave it an 8. I was right in the middle of the album, obviously, and when you get through them all, and then you get to that, I just felt everything. It all jingled well, and it was a good song. I really enjoyed that one. I gave it an 8.
An 8 for you, Andy. Through Her Eyes.
I love this, and I'm going the same as like Stephen. I gave it a 9, believe it or not. But it's because of it was the bass for me done it in this. Sucker
so
for
nice.
fretless bass, man. So hard to play live
Oh, aye.
and not make a mistake. But
See a fretless bass, is it memory? Are you playing it by memory?
Yes.
There is a lot of muscle memory. Like I done in one of my last shows actually. I was ground transport for the thrash metal band Testament, who they've got a bass player, Stevie DiGiorgio, who's playing all these mad metal riffs, and it's all fretless, and it's fucking ridiculous. Like, he's absolutely ridiculous. If you've ever listened to Testament, which you might know of, but it's just his left hand's everywhere, but it's all perfect, and it's all just muscle memories, like locking, because you've not got the frets, you've got fret markers, but I think his custom model doesn't even have fret markers. It's just neck.
I mean, you've got to remember, when you play a guitar, you've got to hit the middle of a fret. So you've got to hit the middle, to get a nice clean sound.
Yep.
On a fretless bass, you need to hit where the fret marker is, to get the. So if it's an A, for example, you are playing, you have to hit it on the fret marker, like A, to play an A. So it's not in the middle of the fret you play in a fretless, it's on the fret. So your fingers, acting as a fret. Do you know what I mean? So trying to get that, and so if you're a millimeter off to up, you're sharp. If you're a millimeter down, you're flat. It's just phenomenal. And
that's where vibrato is your friend when you're playing fretless.
Because
if you fuck it, you can just wiggle it in a wee bit. He knows. He's done that before.
Yeah.
He just wiggled it in.
He's got a new fancy pedal.
No, and it's phenomenal. I loved it.
I loved it. It's a good
I've
song,
got,
but it gets a bit too preachy for me.
I did say there's got a kind of great gig in the sky element to it as well.
Yep.
In there, it's got kind of When Tigers Run Free type vibe as well for some reason. I've put down. I don't know what I was thinking when I was doing that note, but again, amazing tones and everything. Everything.
So a 9. God, I'm way out with you guys. I've wrote that the vocal suits this song, but no the heavier tunes, right? But then I wrote this is a bit la-di-da for me, and as a one-off, it wasn't for me. It was like a X Factor edition. I did. That's what I thought. It was very la-di-da.
The vocal performance does try a few tricks. Like he does try like going and doing scales and falsetto, and then he's doing like deep voice and all that. So I get the audition vibe, but it comes back to the fact that everybody else has always got their moment to shine in Dream Theater, but it just feels like when he tries it doesn't hit the mark.
See, I think I'm getting through it all in the kind of I'm listening to the vocal and the melody of the song and the musicality, and I tend to miss the to me the bass player was doing great things, but I didn't know that he was playing fretless and well, there's some stuff in there that would get your score higher, but at the moment, but at that it was a 6.5. So, but still, we're still in the 8s, guys. For Through Her Eyes, so 8 out of 10. So we're coming into Act 2 now, Andy. What's happening in Act 2? First tune home.
The second act begins by describing Julian's addiction to cocaine and gambling, which drives Victoria away from him.
Right,
there you go.
Here we go. Stephen.
This actually has. This is the one with the. What mode is it? Is it Phrygian intro? I don't know, but it's in a weird mode, and it's got like the sitar noises and that at the start. I never liked this one when I was getting into the album. Like this was actually a slow burner for me, and I don't know. It took me getting into the lyrics to actually carry it, because I realised the story was maybe the most important part to me in this one. Whereas I think the musicality, the guys, although it's still fucking frighteningly technical, I think they hold back a wee bit on this tune, which kind of makes it all right. Like I kind of enjoy that they held back, because they'll need a break as well at some point. If you're thinking it as a stage show, as a run through, like as they expected the album to be, like this is their time to chill, but then it does get shreddy.
Yeah. It's impressive drum kit, by the way, in that picture, Andy boy.
It's something else. It is
Bob?
something else.
I like that song to a soundtrack, a song for a soundtrack, something like The Crow or John Wicks or something like that. It was a deep and dark song, and I give it a 7.5. I gave it. About a 7.5. I gave it. I remember to a bit injustice actually when I listened to that. Sometimes a wee snippet tells you more than a full song, and it does. It sounded like that could be a song in a major hit movie. When you just one of the dark movies, and I enjoyed it. I must admit, I liked that.
There's a few songs like that in this as well. I get that with that, Ian Bob. Definitely. And you gave it a 7.5, Andy.
Yeah. So the story behind this part of the song is that Edward feels guilty about deceiving his brother, but decides his love for Victoria is greater than the guilt, and seduces her when she's vulnerable, just following a breakup with her brother. So his brother, sorry. So
Edward's
there you go.
A tool, isn't he?
There you go. So it's like I can give you the whole. I hope I've got all this right in the right order. How am I doing, Stephen? Am I getting there?
It's getting there now. This is when he deals with the family issues and choosing. Aye. So no,
I'm ready. I've run out of popcorn.
I need some of that. I know it is.
I think if you watch the live DVD, it's all played out, and there's cut scenes in the background like they did with The Wall, and it's actually got actors acting it out and stuff. And I just got fucking goosebumps talking about the cut scenes. I'm a fucking prog snob. Oh my god! 15-year-old me's like, Stephen, it was worth it. Oh, Ollie Moore's trapped in fucking Dream Theater, man.
I mean,
we've all got bands like that do that to us.
I think there's things on this song though that there's elements in this song that you hear in all modern day tracks just now, and it's really good. There's also I've also put there's a Doors type spoken section in it. It took me back to the kind of Doors type Jim Morrison type influence. I don't know if that's right or not, but
he pulled out her soul and made it cry. Is that not one of the lines to it? Aye, and it gets kind of sexual in the middle, and then there's loads of screaming in that.
Aye, but that took me back to the kind of Doors type. I love the Doors, and that was that kind of he liked Jim Morrison liked that kind of to paint the picture. Do you know what I mean? But these heavy words, and I think he done it really well. But yeah, an 8 for me. Brilliant.
And I quite like this one as well. The kind of orgasmic noise bit, if that's what it was, anyway, or somebody's stubbed their toe. But I had that. I was listening. That was kind of Rocket Queenie, Guns N' Roses kind of thing going on there. But also the song, and then when I heard that, I listened back, and I heard a bit of Skid Row, like early 80s rock. Like kind of mid-80s rock in there as well, and it was more the vocal that gave me that. It was like that Sebastian Bach's vocal. He kind of go at that kind of 80s vocal in there, so I quite like that. The guitar at 8 minutes in's just fucking superb again. Like it's one for guitar lead lovers again. So the song's Home. Go to about 8 minutes if you're into your guitar, if you're watching, and listen to that as well. So yeah, I gave that a 7 out of 10, and again 8.13 out of 10 for that one. And
I must say, Home has the solo sections where it goes keyboard then guitar then keyboard and guitar, and see his Jordan Rudess's guitar tone that he uses for his keyboard is better than most guitar tones that people use for their guitars. It's so fucking powerful, man. The guy's honestly a wizard, and that's his whole branding has been a synth wizard.
Here's a question then. So see the really fast guitar bits, obviously that'll be easier to play on keys.
Yep. They do big trade-offs where they're both playing along with each other and everything, and it's just incredible. That's
amazing, because you wouldn't have known that one of the guitars was for a synth, because usually when you get your guitar sound for a synth is like it's not usually that great, is it? Your wee guitar button, it's like that's not going to sound great. But anyway, okay, Andy, we're into the next tune, which is The Dance of Eternity, song number 9 of 12.
The one that kills drummers, man.
After visiting Edward's old house, Nicholas believes that he solved the mystery. Julian has tried to beg Victoria for forgiveness and rebuffed and killed them both. And Edward then positioned himself as a witness in the newspaper to get away with it in the newspaper article. So there you go.
Oh, wow.
There
And we're not even at the end yet. Here we go.
We're leaving it in. I had to use that clip, right?
I know, because that's the bit that blew my mind.
Genius. Genius.
Aye.
You know?
Like,
just brilliant.
That bit there, like, see, coming into that, it's actually, see the keyboard like, that he does, the big, like, arpeggio. The time before this happens, when it doesn't go into the ragtime bit, he actually does that on a guitar. He goes and does the same one, so that harkens back to the thing. They switch roles, so Rudis takes over the lead and does the. But it's just another one of them bits that they've just done complete fan service, and they're just trading off chops. Like one of them's like, I'm going to do a big flashy thing, and he's like, well, I'm going to do it next time it comes round. And it's one of the production techniques that I've learned from listening to Dream Theater early years, is like literally pop music does it as well. Sell them the same shit but dress it up different. So next time the verse comes in, add an extra guitar or add a twinkly layer on the synth or something, and then the next time it comes, take one of them away. So it's the same shit dressed differently. And in the song, there's a lot of that. There's a bit called Shrink and Grow, that everything just keeps getting smaller and faster and smaller and faster, and then it gets longer and slower and longer and slower, and then they hit into the next thing. And like as a concept piece, it's fucking ridiculous, man. And it's like Guitar Olympics. This is the one that got them other fame within the players. Dog's doing it.
It's my dog, my dog.
It's one of them that this is the one that got everybody's fucking blood rushing, because all your drummers were like, I can play this all in one go, and all your bass players were like, but I've learned it. And like everybody had the time to learn something new for that song, and it's mind blowing. If you search that Dance to Eternity on YouTube, you've got some covers up there that people are watching millions of times, and it's the most technically proficient example of what they did that they've ever done since. Like the audition show that you were watching when they were trying to find a replacement for Portnoy, this is the piece that they made them play. All right, yeah. Like this is the one that were like, if you can play that, you can fucking join the band. Like straight up, if you can do that, you can do this. And it's so fucking good. And there's a video out there that you've actually got Mike Portnoy. He's sitting on his drum kit next to a video of him playing the song, but he's got the time signature held up, and he's going 1, 2, and every time it goes, he's switching to the new time signature, and it's just so hard to keep up with. There's so many. I think there's like 30 odd time signature changes.
Wow, I'm worried about my score now.
108. It's got 108 time signature changes in the whole song. Fuck me, man.
Amazing.
Like it's 6 minutes long. How the hell can you fit 108 time signatures into 6 minutes?
Every bar. And it's the fact that I couldn't remember a sequence of 108 bars. Never mind the notes that are in them and the tempos that they change to. Like that's frightening. But as you say, these are all top of their class at Berkeley. Like
biggest, most prestigious music college in the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Aye, and this is their CV piece basically. This is their showreel, and it's incredible, man. I love it.
A tremendous description, I've got to say. So it is.
Sorry, I'm really into this album.
Bob, yourself?
What did you say my name there? I was still trying to work out what the fuck a time signature was. See the section we played? It was that section that made me get an 8, to be fair, when I was listening to the song, right? Because I've got a kind of a love for songs that go way off to that, the fast, the keyboards, then the drums are in it. I love that kind of thing in a song. And I enjoyed the song, but then that bit came in, I thought, that's a cracking song. So I gave it an 8, but I gave it an 8 based on that section of the song. I just loved the way it kind of went and flying, and you get yourself all going about it. It's got, this is brilliant. And so it was an 8 for me for that one. I enjoyed that. So that's
Excellent. Andy.
I can't make the mistake here, but I'll go with it anyway. I've given it a 7, right? I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm just trying to think, because everything I've read, I'm like absolutely crazy. You know, like because there is points in the song you go, what the hell is going on? You know, and then the next thing, whoa, where'd that come from? Was that, you know? And as I said, there's loads of trade-offs. You know, I'm playing this bit, so I'm going to play it, as you said earlier. I'm playing this bit, I'm going to play it next time. I'm going to play it next time, and that's just amazing. There's a lot of dueling going on. There's a lot of it's basically a masterclass in every type of form of music, you know, from pentatonic scales to everything. There's just everything in there that you would do in a jazz session, a ragtime session, a rock session, you know, and you're just like, wow, it blew my mind. But I don't know why I've gave it a 7. And I've got all these notes written down on it, and I'm like,
Here's one for you, though. Here's one for you. My negative point about this song, and always has been, the bass solo is fucking shite.
Yes, it's not very good.
It's impressive what he's doing, but it makes no fucking musical sense. It's too many notes. He should have went melodic with it instead of whatever that's meant to be. The tone choice that he does in the bass solo is just too fuzzy, man. Too fuzzy.
Yeah.
But each to their own, eh? As long as he likes it. As long as he's into it, then that's fine, eh?
Well, I put down that I love all that shit at the start. So see at the start of the song, and I gave the intro a 10 out of 10. Like I wrote 10 out of 10 intro for me, and into the synth and all that, which was brilliant. But then it went a bit crazy for me. It went really, really crazy, and I felt like phoning the band, going at this point of the album, going, listen, we know you're superb musicians. We know this, right? You're just now totally showing off. And then they even put in a bit like there's a sound in there that's like the catchphrase reveal. See if you ever watch catchphrase, and then they're doing the and then they reveal the answer that week, and I like that's the week, and it was just that reminded me of catchphrase, but. The musicality of it, again, I think we've used that word about 46 times. I need to get a thesaurus for a better word. But the musicianship, the structure, it's brilliant. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. But I absolutely loved the intro, because I'm right into all that kind of stuff.
It's a totally belter crescendo. Like, see the way that the bass and the drums are playing the two different rhythms, but they eventually come together, and it's just so good, man. And as you say, the synths and the atmospherics building up, it's a gorgeous piece of music. But then it does go off its nut. Yeah,
it does really go off its nut, yeah. One last time, song number 10, Andy, what's happening?
So, song number 10, Nicholas comes to terms with what has happened and bids farewell to Victoria. The hypnosis state ends the session. And at this point, despite pleased with Victoria's memories, so there's loads of stuff going on here. So, but I will talk about cuts, because there's more coming up, but it talks more about the cut scenes and things like that in the next couple of songs. So there you go.
Okay, here we go. Number 10, One Last Time.
What I've always known, how it's nights I can't believe. I find childhood dreams slowly come true. All these old memories.
Is this your Christian rock song?
No, not yet.
No, okay, all right, here we go.
But aye, I think that one's it's pretty good. It's the vocals that I like most in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he really carries it. The lead works untouchable, and just the guitars are playing quite straight there, but the bass is so busy. Like even in that sample there, the bass is like so busy. He's doing slides into notes and everything. He's really fleshing out the production, and it's fucking class.
Yeah.
But it's a 10 from Len.
A 10. Bob, you're selling this one?
I gave it a 7. And the one thing I would agree with Stephen is I loved the vocals in it. But I don't know how, because obviously I don't play any instruments, but I didn't feel the musical side of it fit at the lyrics more than anything else. And It was a good tune, but it just didn't do it for me. It gives me the kind of wee feeling that we're coming to the end of an album. Which, when for a concept album, it can't be a filler, but it felt like a filler to me, and that's why I gave it a 7.
No bother, Bob. That's fine. Andy.
I mean, I got the same as Stephen. The bass is doing so much on this. You know, it's unbelievable. You just don't, you know, it's all there. It's all type kind of rock ballad to it, like feel as well. You know, at points, which I love. You know.
What's your favourite rock ballad off the top of your head?
Favourite rock ballad. I was going to say something else here.
Do you ever remember the albums? You'll remember them, Bob. Like Soft Metal and Pure Soft Metal and Precious Metal.
They're behind me.
Are they? You got the Precious Metal. That's where I first heard of bands like Wasp and all that.
Well, see, Scorpions' Wings Have Changed. That's probably my favourite rock ballad.
One of my favourite rock ballads is 18 in Life.
Oh, Skid Row. Yeah.
Fucking absolute banging band, man. So good.
Had
the quiz routine. Do you know what one always sticks to my head, though? It's just stereotypical because it was a big guy when the film was out. It's Danger Zone. You know,
is that a rock ballad?
I don't think it's. Is it a ballad?
I would say so. I would say it was a
ballad. I didn't get the feel of this. I didn't get the story. Ballads are self-contained concept.
Yeah. I've got it in my I keep going back to like your Precious Metal, Soft Metal and all that, and it's no Broken Wings. Take these broken. It's no that, but there's
Mr.
Aye,
that's
there's
Mr.
Aye, there's a tune. There's a tune in one of the albums. Is it Wasp? It's a Wasp tune. No, but for me, every time I hear it, Alone Be Heart. I fucking love that tune. Like, see that song. That's a brilliant rock ballad for me anyway. But anyway, that's for rock ballads. Andy,
sorry. When you go.
On you go, Bob. No, go for yours. Go for it.
You mentioned Heart. You know, Alone. The first time I saw them when they supported Status Quo years ago. That's how I first heard them. And Alone was just out.
Wow.
And what it was when it was, hearing a girl sing that live, it was goose pimples all up and down your arms. It's not my favourite one, but I just remember that when you mentioned Heart or Alone. Yeah, the sporting Status Quo.
That's brilliant. Andy, go for it with the rest that you're scoring this.
No, as I said, it's an 8. But I mean, again, the bass and guitar syncs are just unbelievable in this. You know, and you're just, it's just like you just want to be that bass player. You know, you want to be. I want to play like that. That's it. That's me. That's it. Unfortunately, it's not happening. Good tell.
I'm trying to. That's the tune. I've got it. I've found it. It's the Then Jericho, the Motive. That was the tune. That was the tune. If you've ever heard. Have you ever heard that? Then Jericho, the Motive. I might play a wee bohery later on, but aye. Then Jericho, the Motive. That was the one. Okay, so this tune. Remember, I was talking earlier about Jesus Christ Superstar. This is a tune. Like, I loved this. I loved it. This song took me back to that time. Like, took me back to how much I enjoyed that. I was so surprised, and then since then I've went to see loads of like musicals. I've went and seen live stage shows, like even like theatre show, like murder mystery. I think I've seen Strangers in a Train at the theatre, and it was all because of that, and it just takes me back to that. The singing was great. I got the kind of Christian kind of rock kind of theme for this, you know, that's how I thought you were talking about that. But the structure of the song was excellent. Musicianship again, which is just a given for all these, and it's important you don't take it for granted because it's really, really clever what they do. But the showmanship of the singer, you could like, whereas before you thought he was reading off a bit of paper, you can actually, when he's singing this, you can feel
he's centre stage and he's feeling it.
Stage, yeah. So I gave that an 8 out of 10 for that.
Like, see, it's the end. There's that the vocal melody is like da 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 da, and it's like totally. and you can imagine him arms out singing it, and then it drops, and there's the wee Harry Potter piano at the end.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean. The boom, 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 and it's just pure theatre. It is just pure theatre worship.
Yeah,
and
aye.
I totally get that for that song.
Excellent. So 8.25 out of 10.
Same again.
Yes. So, love this tune. So, song number 11, The Spirit Carries On, Andy.
So this goes to a cutscene at this point, and it reveals Edward's perspective, revealing that he wishes that his romance with Victoria was more than just a simple affair. Victoria begins to reconcile with Julian. Edward confronts the two and then murders him, and then stages the scene and assumes the role of the witness in the newspaper column, as I said earlier. And the flashbacks include Edward telling Victoria to open her eyes before killing her, and then echoing the same choice of words the hypnotist uses Nicholas to wake him from the hypnotic trance. And you can actually think you can hear it within this song as well.
Yeah. Is there any you've ever thought that a wee cover of the Kinks' Victoria chucked in here somewhere would have been quite good? Victoria! What a tune that is.
That is a total tune.
Okay, then here we go. Then this is number 11, The Spirit Carries On.
Frightened of dying. I used to think that was the end, but that was before. I'm not scared anymore. I know that my soul will trans.
Great stuff. We'll come to you first, Stephen.
Right, where do I start? Right, absolute fucking Christian rock twaddle.
No way.
This is the one, this whole one, the whole chorus it's a beautiful chorus. I know it's huge, I know that it's well constructed, but it's like at the end, it's at the end of every line you could go, Jesus, like, and it's fucking toffee, like. But it's amazing for a standpoint of like straight up professional musicianship, the way they navigate the simple chords. Like Portnoy is doing an amazing like fucking Toto style like Purdy shuffle type thing in it. Like again, he's got a nice swing to it. Everything's so well done, but then they just sprinkle the fucking God on top of it because they're all prolific Christians,
Right.
which I'm no into. I'm no into it. But it's just I like my religion to stay inside the church, man. They can do that all day if they want. I just didn't want it in my tunes. I didn't want it in my tunes. I didn't want it in my house. Like it's too corny, man. The chorus, as I say, it's beautiful. I wish I'd wrote it. I'd have fucking more money if I wrote it. But nah, it's too Christian for me. This is the least favourite on the album as an album part.
Wow.
I know it's an amazing song. It's just the worst out of a good bunch, if you know what I mean. And
right, that's fine.
It's just I just didn't like it because it gets too Jesus. There's only one other Dream Theater song outranks it in the Jesus line, and it's a song that they released called "I Walk Beside You," and it's fucking Jesus. Which is fine if you're into it, but I'm not. And it's too strong. It's too strong a vibe. Jesus is too powerful for me. Like I'm not getting Jesus inside me at any point.
Well, if you're a lover of Jesus, they really do love him. Bob, you love your Jesus?
They go fucking in.
Oh, I'm actually going to mirror exactly what Stephen said. That's what put me off the song. I gave it a 7. I'm thinking, what are we doing with like a Christian movement and a song and a concept album, murder, and obviously you're liking songs. You're going, what the hell's that? Like too Christian for me.
The first lyrics, like I used to be frightened of dying. You used to think death was the end, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake! No, it's a hymn. It's a hymn. You could see if you were sitting on the gym hall floor, right, and they go, open your books to number 49, and you'd be like, oh, no Dream Theater again. No Dream Theater again. I'm not fucking doing it. Like you'd get up and you'd fuck off.
No. I mean, I love the gospel music, things like that, but that Christian thing just doesn't do it for me.
Wow, Andy. I think it's me and you that picked this song up then.
I love it. I've got The Show Must Go On by Pink Floyd, not Queen. Vibe to it. And I think they do it because I think it's down the same kind of lines as that song. You know, because when they talk about The Show Must Go On, it's all about after death and what's happening and things like that. And that's what Pink Floyd sing about theirs. And I think that's what they're doing there. And they've took that song because it is a beautiful song. Fair enough. I think you're right what you're saying. They have made it that more kind of Christian rock type, you know, to sprinkle. But I think it's brilliant. I give it an 8.
Well, I've been going on about Christian rock, you know, that what one's your Christian rock
You didn't even
songs.
think it?
I didn't even think it, right? Because I don't even think I was listening to the lyrics in this. This song just always stood out to me. I just thought it was epic. I just thought it was like an epic song. Like,
do you think?
I think it was more because, like, see what you were saying. I could hear this in a movie. Like I just liked the epicness. Could I use that in Scrabble? How many would that get me? Nothing. Right, okay. I gave it a 9 out of 10. This is my favourite tune in the whole album. Mental, innit?
I will say, like, it's when it goes to the later part of the song when there's like the modulation and it gets a bit more serious with the choirs. And as I said, it's fucking production wise, it's beautiful, it's huge, it's amazing, but it's just too much Jesus and it's not as good as the rest of the songs in my opinion.
Cool. But
because
it's
a 10 because it's part of the journey, it's got to be there. It's to bring it back down before you take off again.
What about if somebody else sang it? Do you think that would make a difference?
I think it's the lyrics,
different
innit?
words. It's different fucking words, like.
Okay then, we're getting into the last tune of the album, Finally Free, Andy. So who's finally free?
So basically back to present, Nicholas arrives home followed by following his hypnotherapy session. Nicholas is startled by another request to open his eyes before the album basically cuts to phonographic static. And the static closes the album and begins The Glass Prison, which is the first song on their next album. 6
that
Degrees
shit.
of the
Oh,
Inner
dude,
Turbulence.
it's fucking goosebumps again, man. Every time, right on my back, everything.
Oh, I love all that.
And continued a chain for the their next albums until
Subsequent.
Octavarium. Aye, there we go. Octavarium in 2005 with the same idea but different closing notes.
Brilliant.
And there's the thing.
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Before you play, like, you know how he was saying that eventually he gets told to wake up by the hypnotherapist and it goes to this scratchy like phonograph. Did you not notice that after that it says to wake up again?
Aye.
Because he thinks he wakes up and then it goes, open your eyes again. And it's like, oh, goosebumps. Oh, you fucker. But like, it's that fucking, what show was that ended like that? Like, they all wake up at the end. Is it Dallas? And it was all a dream.
Aye.
And it just totally made it all pish.
Aye.
Was that not like Lost as well?
No, Bobby Ewan for Dallas.
Oh, Lost is different.
They did
Lost
that
is
in
purgatory and all that.
the American version of Life on Mars. Like the British version, at the end he jumps off the building kind of thing to get back in time. Well, in the American version, which was still good, but it ruined it for fans because at the end they all woke up in a spaceship. It was a dream.
That's why.
That was
astronauts waking up in a dream.
That was like the bit of the last Indiana Jones film where it was all to do with aliens and things like that. That completely ruined that franchise. That ruined that franchise for me.
Pulls you out of the dream, man.
I know. Anyway, here we go. Finally free.
This feeling inside me, finally found my life. I'm finally free. No longer torn into living my own life.
That's amazing.
Okay, Stephen. But so we know your album scores a 10 out of 10. But what you giving us for the end?
It's
here,
just,
the end tuned.
I think it's a perfect closer. Like, it has nice calm vibes. Like, it's still got the epic like instrumentation. They're all just gone for it, and it's just when there's that crescendo, and then it's like, oh, and it goes into the do 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 do. Oh, it's just I fucking throw it at me every day, man. I fucking listen to it constantly. Like, and it's worth it to come out of the Spirit Carries On into this.
Yeah, that was a good end.
I feel it is a good end.
I just love that fact that, oh God, like
it's all connected, man.
It's all connected, aye. Okay then, so Bob, let's see what you gave this final tune.
I underscored that. The truth be told, I should have gave it an 8. But I think it suffered because I didn't love the song before it. So I was kind of disheartened and a wee bit disillusioned when I come into that song. But the more I've listened to it, the more I liked it. And it was actually a good ending to an album.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if the one before it had been like number 7 in the album, I would have probably gave that an 8 at the end.
Yeah.
I know it sounds a bit, but that's what I would have probably done. But I gave it a 7, sadly, but it should have been an 8.
So Bob, you're not a concept album man. I don't know if you're a prog rock man, but I'll tell you something, you've scored that album well for your first listen. 7.33 out of 10. So really good score. Especially for an album and a band you've not heard like much of before. That's how these are good. These doing these podcasts, especially, we enjoy doing the ones that we've not heard before, like Bring Me a Horizon. When we did that, I hadn't heard that before. Iggy Pop, I hadn't heard much of Iggy Pop, but when we did that album, it was amazing. So it was really good. Andy, what about your selling this year?
It's brilliant. It's just like mind blowing.
God, didn't start off with like that there. I thought you were going to slate it.
No, like, see, as an ending to an album, you wanted that next bit, but you know you're going to have to wait for it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's just phenomenal. What a way to end. There's been a lot of albums that we've listened to, and they came to the end of an album, and it's just been a big letdown at the end. Oh, is that it? All right, okay. But this is completely different. You're like, what? I want the next bit. I want the next bit of the story. I want the next act to come on. I want something. I want something after this. Brilliant. I give it a 9.
That's nice.
So Andy, your album score is 8 out of 10. Just a standard 8 out of 10 album.
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, very good.
I think it deserves it.
Here's my notes for this last year. I wrote kind of like how Paul McKenna returns. So I had in my head that was Paul McKenna. That was like, as I say, I love how everything connects. So I loved how he was at the start and then he came in at the end. I just straight away thought this is quite cool. And it's just it was a great end to the album. And when you actually listen to it, so it took me the fourth listen to realise like how good an end this was to the album. It just kind of book stamped it and then wanted you looking for more. It's one of the most talented bands I've ever heard. You know, like when you actually listen to it. So I'd never heard this band before, and so that now makes me want to. I've never really listened to Rush. Everybody talks about it. So it's a kind of rabbit hole I wouldn't mind kind of getting into just to kind of hear some of this stuff. But so yeah, I gave that tune to end it with a 7. So my album score is 7.37 out of 10. Class. So let's see where that puts the album. So the album score for Metropolis Part 2 Scenes of Memory is 8.16 out of 10. Let's see where it comes in my chart then. So I'll just go into our charts. So how many podcasts? This is 33. We've done 33 albums on our 34th podcast. Okay, so here's the top 33 albums then. Heathen Chemistry Oasis 33, The Man Who Travis 32, Jerry Cinnamon's Erratic Cinematic at 31, Jack Garrett Love, Death and Dancing at 30, Sparkle in the Rain by Simple Minds 29, Seven the Ragged Tiger Duran Duran at 28, Regatta de Blanc Police at 27, Eventide The Faith Brothers at 26, State of Things by Reverend of the Makers at 25, Play 24 by Moby, 23 Post-Human Survival by Bring Me the Horizon, Iggy Pop's Lust for Life at 22, Blackberry Smoke the Whippoorwill at 21, Travis Invisible Band at 20, Run the Jewels RTJ4 at 19, Rolling Stones Exile on Main Street at 18, and Crowded Houses Together Alone is at 17.
What the hell?
16 Jagged Little Pill, 15 Turnstiles, 14 Metropolis Part 2, 13 Lauryn Hill's A Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, Arctic Monkeys is at number 12, and The Strokes is This It is at number 11. And 10, In Excess Kick, U2's The Joshua Trees at 9, Thriller at 8 by Michael Jackson, 7 is at Let It Be, and Nirvana's Nevermind is 6. The Bends Radiohead's at 5, Guns N' Roses at 4 with Appetite Destruction, Oasis is at 3, Sgt. Pepper's is at 2, and still the number 1 album is Revolver by the Beatles.
Bob's like gutted at that still.
Bob hates the Beatles.
That's the way I'd put them either.
So, see what I mean? The thing is, it's a fallacy. I don't hate the Beatles. See, the Beatles early 60s and when it was She Loves You and all that, I can understand it, biggest thing for it. But it's how a band, an album with Sgt. Pepper's could be number 2 in this chart. Fucking amazing. I just don't get it. I just don't get it at all. A pile of pish.
But I was really worried about this, like when Stephen brought this album, because like I knew that from a music point of view it'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I rated it highly, but and I knew Stephen would rate it highly, straight away because it's his album at the end of the day. But then I was worried that Scott and Bob would rate it, but I'm really surprised how high up it is. I had it on par with like a Bring Me the Horizon, and the in there. But no, it's definitely surprised me where it's ended up.
It was actually it was a toss up. The album that I think I'd prefer your feedback on. No one knew how you think would have been Roger Waters' Radio Chaos.
Oh,
that is a concept album. That
yes,
fucking,
thank you.
Like that one is fucking. That's another favourite of mine that just it tickles the right spots, but it's mere electronica. It's highly political. Like it's fucking incredible. But I'm glad I brought Dream Theater here because, as you say, at least you'll take for it. Maybe checking out another song or that, and there's a lot to there's a lot to dive into. And it being a deeper cut, like a bigger album, like as you were saying earlier, having it topped and tailed, like I feel the experience, although it's an hour and 15 or whatever, bookending it with a psychiatrist, it makes it feel like it fucking flies by.
It's great.
The pacing is perfect.
As I said, what I enjoy about this is just the album. Like you're getting to listen to an album every week. It's a new album. Bob did the Joshua Tree, and I still listen to the Joshua Tree now. Apart from the first 3 tunes in the Joshua Tree, like I think is it Red Hill Mining Town's one of my favourite tunes of all time. Now I just absolutely can't get off.
And Blue Sky, but
and then there's Pt.2. There's a tune in the Police one that Tommy Clark put on, Bed's Too Cold Without You or something. There's just different songs you hear that have got things in them and albums that are just, they're no popular, they're not their biggest songs, but there's just wee bits you get for it. And there's an album, a band I've not heard before that I've given a 9 out of 10 in one of their tunes as well. So
Where do you go? Sorry to go, Spot.
So just before I forget, here's this Then Jericho, just quickly, just to see if you can remember it. I'll just play 20 seconds of it, right? See if you can hear it.
Fucking lovely.
Can't play any more in case we get shocked off. But
I dig that, man. I've got to check that out.
Then Jericho, it's called The Motive. That's the band. That was the song I was thinking of. But anyway, we're going to play tell us about this Becky Wallace tune. Is this a video that you...
Which one is it? I've done 2 videos for her.
The new one, the newest one.
Deconstruct.
Let me just check. Aye, I think it is the one with the face.
Aye. It's all red, blues, and red and blues.
It's shot in a bed.
Oh, that's coloured in.
Yes, there you go.
Aye. So that one was funny enough. Well, both of her videos that I've done were filmed in about an hour. Not even joking. Wow. She's a feisty, fiery wee thing that moves about really quick. So it was like, I want Darren to be in this one. Our man Darren Loki McGarvey, Scottish political boy. Yeah. Aye, he's just had a new TV show out. You should go and check it. It's really cool. But she was wanting him to be in it, but she wasn't wanting it to be him because the song's all about honesty in relationships and just the struggles of living with a family and having like your kids arriving and changing the family dynamic and stuff. So she wanted something that was really intense that included him but kept him anonymous because it can be any family. It wasn't necessarily Darren's in the video, look at Darren in the video. It was never about that. That's why I fucked up his face. And I was like, cool, so we'll go to where love's kept. Love's kept in the bedroom. Like that's where at the end of your night you're talking to your missus. That's when this serious shit happens and the other shit happens. But so I was like, cool, we've got to go to where the magic happens. We've got to keep it simple. We've got to choose one dynamic, get some good simple shots, light it well, and just go for it. It's all set on the bed except for there's one cutaway that I kept different, one tiny wee cutaway, and I absolutely loved shooting it. It was so quick because literally Darren had 35 minutes before he was away to film his new TV show that he's in.
See, music with that music video. So, do they say, right, here's the song with the lyrics? You make the video. It's you that decides.
Yep.
Yeah.
The way that I work with Becky is I get full creative control. Oh, cool. She hired me because she likes what I do.
Right.
She says to me, here's the song, here's the lyrics, and here's what's in my head. And it might necessarily not be anything to do with it. Mm-hmm. But she's like, here's what I've got. You do you. Tell me what you need. Like, she gave me full creative control of that video and the second video as well. And it worked out well because... See,
when somebody sends you music, does it matter? Does it need to be a certain genre of music, or would you do a video to anything?
Anything.
Right, Andy, get the number.
We've already spoke.
All right, okay.
As long as, like, see, I get I don't know, maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. The way that I work with people is when you hire me to do your photos or videos, you get what I give you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like that's it. I've had people where I go and I'll take photos of them, I'll send them back, and they'll go, "Could you give me that one in black and white?" And I'm like, "No, it's not black and white shot."
That's yeah. Cool.
If I'm taking black and white photos, I've got to go into it knowing that I'm taking them to be black and white.
That's like you're saying to Michael Jackson, like I like Billie Jean, but see that middle bit of Billie Jean, can you sing like Elvis? Like, do you know what I mean? I know what you mean. Yeah.
So when people hire me, it sounds really arrogant, but I do what I fucking want, man. Like, I do what I want because I enjoy what I do, and if they want to hire me, I presume they're hiring me because they like what I do.
Okay, right, we'll play this Becky Wallace song. Andy, do you want to ask the question?
Right. I'll ask you a question, Stephen. All right, and we'll give you this.
Bob's not done that. I don't think has Bob done this as well before, where we've asked him to do his one and he can DJ. Has he? Aye. Has he picked his band? Have you, Bob?
What, is this Tommy's question?
Tommy's question, aye.
Aye, I've done it, aye.
Oh, you've done it, right.
I had you two simple minds and I can't remember. Oh, I'll let him. I've nearly get away there. Where do you go?
Go. So, basically, you've got a gig, right? You, Stephen Dewar, or Arcade Break are the headliners. It's up to you.
Right.
So, if you want to headline it yourself, be, totally selfish.
Right.
The headliners, you can have any 3 acts, alive, dead, or whatever, and any venue. what would be your top venue. So we'll give you this song to think about it.
Right.
You can
Here we
come
go.
back to us after this.
This
song,
is the
alright?
video that Stephen had.
Fucking
his
hell, this is
idea.
hard already.
This is his video for Becky Wallace. And what's the name of the song?
Corden.
It's-
Culloden. Here we go.
Finally feeling the urge to complete you. Finally sensing my space in your time, how I need you. Don't take my silence as trying to hurt you. Know how I felt like your feet came to love you. Better is a heart lost in moonlight, shredded in the burst of a glass sky. We stand beneath air, it colors us and darkens our skin, listens to our silences. This is where you and I meet. This is where puzzles complete. I break between the waves of your island, uninvited. You color me. Honestly, I want you to feel love. Listen to the sparks sing between us. Believe what you need if it picks you up. A bleak in your sun, your colors run. Honestly, the strength of your heart swells. Reality is dark, we are compelled. Skin as it folds in our motion. You color me in.
Wow,
Aye.
that's visually stunning. I mean, like,
The-
unbelievable.
I
And
fucking
by the way-
love it, man.
I've only found this out, and if they're watching, our friends Audrey Tate at Nova South
Yep.
Studios
Mixed it and mastered
designed
it.
that as well. So shout out to them as well. So I know, so there's connections there. Stephen, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds longer, right? Because I just want to
Right.
show some of these images that I've pulled that you have shot yourself as a photographer.
Cool.
Which stood out for me, and it was just the first couple of grabs. So you can just, I'm going to quickly flash them up so everybody can see. So this one, I'm guessing Glasgow Pizza Punk's great restaurant.
I was out just walking the street, took that, it drove by. Such a vibe.
Brilliant. I mean, wow. And did you do much editing on that, or?
A wee bit. I didn't really have to do much because it was just daylight, and it stood out itself. I got my usual treatment.
Gonna go for the next one.
Oh, that was for a promo shoot that I did with 100 Fables. I took the shots of them. That was actually in a room in Dalmarnock that band's rehearsing that I've got access to. And that's wee Lindsay. Beautiful lassie, amazing singer. And I just put purple on her and I was like, stand there, quick, amazing.
I've seen you've done quite a lot with 100 Fables. I mean, they're pretty up there. They're doing really well.
They've went off the radar now. There's been they've sacked. Well, they didn't sack off. They've parted ways with their bass player, and they're looking at moving in a poppier direction. They done their single Roadside that I was meant to film the video for, but I was in a car crash in October and had to cancel. So I've got that on the backlog to get done when COVID lets up. But amazing band, visually stunning. Like, they're handsome guys, like beautiful girl, and they're very easy to work with and easy on the eye. So it makes my job even better. Like,
and I'm going to show the next one. Next one's phenomenal.
Oh, that's my man Jason. He's a horror fanatic. That's actually Tony's old band.
That's for Bearers. Aye, that's Jason for Bearers, isn't it?
When they did the rebrand, I was managing them at the time during this shoot. We did a full rebrand, and I designed all their PR and done all that behind the scenes. And that was one of the shots for their album campaign that I just fucking like. I think you were there when I'd actually done that fresh edit of it. And I love that edit. Like, it's so cool, and it was so easy to do because I laid the groundwork like behind the scenes, like, with the lighting and the composition. It just makes everything a bit easier when you take that into consideration. I love photos, man. I love taking photos. That was
walking about Glasgow again.
That was what's that street? Is it Argyle Street?
Right.
One of the Venals at Argyle Street, and I was walking by and I was like, that's fucking creepy, man. There was nobody on the street for ages, and I was like, what the fuck's it doing? And I had to get down low because there was a big fucking shite mark on the fucking seat, and I was like, oh, maybe that's why it's got nobody on it. They've just run away to fix themselves. But it left quite an interesting talking point in a picture. Like, and I made it black and white because I didn't want the colour of the scene to be what people talked about. I wanted the content of the scene.
Tony's just put up there. He says, "Photos on the next level. Either way, always made me look mint." And then he's get on the bass for them. Stephen, you and Cameron would be some vibe.
Oh well, I'm working with Logan as it is. I can't steal the whole band. Like, come on. I love playing that kind of pop bass. Like, it's so easy just to blitz around and mad chord progressions and playing like harmonies to like stuff. It's easy to self-contained pop bass. It's good.
So I think I've got one more,
all right,
which is brilliant. Again, I think it's just about Glasgow.
Glasgow? That's Glasgow. That's Sauchiehall Street.
Yeah.
That's one of the BT phone station things that they've made. I literally walked in and tipped my camera upside down and dipped the top of it in the puddle and one click.
Brilliant, honestly.
And then
amazing.
I turned it. Well, and when you look at it the other way around, you can actually see that the puddle's the top bit.
Right.
See, that's the trick to it. The reflections on the top.
Hold on, just to bring it back up.
See, if you tip your head, the bottom bit's actually sharper because the puddle's up the top.
It's inverted.
That's the trick. I got ease.
Brilliant.
I love taking photos. That's literally the setup that I'm using now is what I use. It's my A7 III and my Sigma lenses, man. If I could get endorsed by a company, that would be great. And Sigma would do the job very much.
I might actually set up my Sony in the up here. But
I'll link you to the things that I need to show you to get it.
Every day we get a fright, I think.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I actually trimmed the beard and everything, and I was like, fucking hell, 4K, fuck off.
Right, so the Tommy Clark question, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
I've given you a wee bit longer there just to go delving into some photos.
Right, so if I could play this is a weird one. I went through tons of musical phases, and I think if I was to put on a gig that I know I would sing every song to each band that were on it, I would hate the Barras, and opening it would be fucking Pearl Jam, which is a big ass to open for you. Fucking Alice in Chains, just to get some big rock ballads and maybe slow it down for some of the slower tracks, and then finish it with total chaos. Faith No More.
Oh, Faith No More.
Wow, just to get some total scatty fucking mad guitar based like rock with a noise stuff that they do in the middle. And
what and who's the headliner? Is it you or Arcade Break?
It's fucking me stood in my end.
Good stuff.
You've got to be selfish at some point, man. Nah,
I've seen that Faith No More on Top of the Pops. Let's see the reruns of Top of the Pops in the 90s, and it was the Epic. The
Epic.
What a tune, man.
Like, that's a great tune.
They were one of the bands that really pulled me into playing bass. Like, no joke. See, when his name's Dave Gould, eh? Is it Dave Gould? The bass player. He's fucking... No, Bill. Is it Bill Gould? I think it's either Bill. I can't remember, but his bass lines are fucking incredible, man. Like, he done some mad shit and just... He was one of the first players. There was two of them that got me into thinking about bass as its own instrument. So every bass player I was listening to until then was playing the guitar line. Like, just stick with the guitar. But him and Rex Brown for Pantera always played their own shit. See, if their guitarist is doing a solo, they're playing a riff that's never been in the song. And it just, it's so good, man. I love it.
I mean, the way I was always taught was go with the drummer. You know, if the drummer plays a fill, play along with that fill with the drums, not with the guitarist. You know?
Exactly, but the modern metal way is, man, they're just playing guitar lines, and it's really boring. That's why there's a lot of points in bands that I've been in previously as well, and the Arcade Break stuff. On the album, there's loads of me just doing whatever I want. Like, the guitars will break, and I'll do like big fills or whatever, or just make mad noises in my bass. It's so weird. Second band I've been in where I've used a plectrum, and it's so fucking weird, man. I never usually do it, but it's because this band's just about being purely aggressive. Like, during the video shoot, I fucking absolutely ripped fuck out my finger, and it's just healed now, and that's like a month. But there was blood all over my strings and everything. I actually snapped in the video that's lined up. I actually snapped the string punching it with a pick. So towards the end, the string's just flapping. It looks like it's a camera trick, so you can see the string wobbling in slow motion. But no, the string's fucked.
Do you do your own band's videos? Yeah.
No. This one, I got a guy called Sean Hodson. Loki Films, he's called. He's for Lincoln. He's incredible, man. Absolutely incredible. I've had him up to do every band that I've managed. I've had him up to do fucking my friends' bands. Like, he done, I don't know if you've seen, is it All That Candy by Vukovi? The one where they've got the orange makeup and stuff. That was him. Oh, like, cool. He's fucking, he's one of them. He comes up to do music and he'll film whatever you put in front of him. But the thing is with Loki, the more that you take to him, the better he is. Like, see, I always go to him with big concepts, so I think you can see the stuff that I've directed and written for him to film. Like, he's done the Bearers videos and I directed them, but they stand out against these other stuff because I've directed it. So I think the more you give him, he just smashes everything. Everything you can envision, this guy goes for. But hire me. That's enough of him.
Well, we'll play that. We'll play out with that tune. Arcade Breaks. What's it called?
Abscend. It means to cut off. And it's a word that we googled it. The actual, and we were asked this in an interview, like, where did you come up with the name? And it's like, well, we were on the room, right? And we googled it, and we all went, whoa, that's cool. And that's how we came the name. Don't know what it means. Nah, it means to cut off.
Brilliant. Well, what a guest this week anyway. It's been
Thanks,
very,
guys.
very eventful. Bob, this album, what's your final thoughts on the album, and did you enjoy it tonight? It's good to have you back. You've not been on for a wee while.
It's good to see your smiling face.
I enjoyed the album. It's probably not the first concept album I've listened to, but it's probably the first one I've been told is a concept album.
Yeah.
So I mean, see, I'm just going to get back to the fucking Beatles shit. See if Sgt. Pepper's is a concept album. Is that not meant to be a concept album?
I don't.
Nah, I can't marry the two of them together then, as far as concept albums go.
I agree.
To be honest with you, but I'll be honest with you, I'm delighted at that album. I'll probably go and listen to it a lot more because I really enjoyed it, and I probably didn't do it justice because I didn't know there was a story to it in the first place, so really that didn't help too much. You know what I mean? But I'm probably going to listen to that again. Yeah.
Get a listen with the lyrics in front of you. I usually do that after 3 or 4 listens with an album, man.
No, I appreciate it. It was good. It was really
that
good.
as well. It's then getting into their back catalogue and like following them through their first album and seeing how they've like doing that sometimes as well.
14 albums to go through.
See albums like that. And that's probably me being the old purist. I'll try and find them in vinyl. Because I would enjoy listening to that album more on vinyl. For some reason, it's different sound, it's different what they were designed to be, you know.
The ritualate as well, man.
Yeah, no,
you can when an album's on vinyl, it's a fucking serious listen you're going in for. If you've got the effort to put it down.
That fucking man, Andy.
All right, what about this one? No? Hector
Berserk, yeah. That was Audrey that sent that.
Let's not start peeling out vinyl, guys.
I know.
Stephen, sorry, go for it. Yeah.
I've actually, my hallway, as we come in, we've done a vinyl wall.
Oh, wow.
So, like, we've got like our favourite vinyls and like our favourite picture discs, because sometimes a picture disc can be different from the vinyl that you like. Like, I like some of them because they're cool. Like, Marillion always did good picture discs because their album art's always fucking insane. So we've got that, but we've also got a few albums that I'm credited in as well on the wall and stuff. So I can't pull mine. I've got to pull mine off because it all gets kept there. Although I keep my favourite album favourite Scottish album, if you will, Father Sons, I Am an Island. I've got that on vinyl, and that lives secure away, tucked away somewhere, so that it's pristine. I just love that album, and I want to always have a copy on me.
We actually played a game at their O2 show you were at, and we'll try to text you to see if you would respond, because we could always just see you running back and forth down the stage. And so Tony kept on texting to see, wonder if he would respond, I wonder if he sees.
I was raging that night, right?
Vicovi and Farson.
So that night, we were offered that gig 2 days before, and we were on tour at the time. So our last day of the tour, we were meant to hand the van back that night. That was meant to be us drop them off. And they're like, we can, you're on tour, but this is the day after your last show. So we took it, and it was fucking chaos. And the reason I remember that gig is because I ordered a fucking pizza to come to the venue, and the guy had 2 burst tires, and when he got there, the pizza was fucking folded in half, and I was raging, and I threw it at the guy and everything. I threw the box at him, and I was like, get yourself the fuck, and I ended up getting credit to my delivery. Never again, never order food to the back of the academy, because the guy is an arsehole. I hate him. It's probably not the same guy, though. There's probably a few that deliver around that area. But that's my biggest problem with that night. But it was a fucking great gig.
Especially when you're dying for a pizza.
I'd not eaten. I'd driven up for the last night of tour, ready to do it, like to go home, and then suddenly we had another show. Like,
what size of venue are Vicovi playing? Are they in the big venues now?
Last I seen, they were doing 500 caps, which is fucking big enough. But on a support tour that acts that they've been getting on support, it's been like 2,000 upwards.
Aye, they're doing. That's what Hamish said, Bennett, is that it's, if you can give advice to any band coming up, get your support act, get in with supporting.
Aye, it's honestly some of the tours that we've done have been fucking ridiculous. Like the Bataclan in Paris, we were there, and I remember me and Janine walking a bit before it, and we're into our like dark history and all that, and dark tourism. So walking around, there was fucking bullet holes in the wall and everything. Like the shit that went down in there was fucking rotten. But see, to be like in the body of it, and to see like all the kids still came and they were all fucking happy, and you can't beat music, man. Can't destroy it. It'll be here forever.
There's a 400 venue in Paisley. Wouldn't mind having them.
Well, you have to get in touch with management for that. Get in touch with their booking. But I think it would be class. Like, they're such a cool band, and honestly, done this side of the world with them, and who knows what's next, eh? Who knows?
Aye, they're very popular. I've got into them after Hamish has been on because I thought he was really cool. It's just I
Aye.
kind of loved his music and that.
Like, funnily enough, me and Hamish, like Dream Theatre's what we listened to in the van, and we'll rattle albums. Like that's where he started. He started guitar by playing all these mad like shred fucking songs, and he can still do it. But it's just like his technique that he's developed. Like, I don't know if you know much about guitar playing or whatever, but he's got this mad like Tom Morello strum thing that he does. So every note he's always hitting on the 8th or 16th, but he's like muting and playing like different rhythms. But on stage he's always just constant. It's constant, and he's probably like, I've toured with all these big shred guys and all these amazing guys, but nobody can do that.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Like you can try, but you can't imitate him. And his guitar playing's fucking ridiculous, man. He's so good.
I mean, it looks like because as I said, it looks like he absolutely rattles that thing.
Yep.
I mean, that thing takes a pound of abuse.
Oh, dude. And then he started this fucking, I'm calling you out here, Hamish. I'm calling you out. Fucking, he started this thing at the end of the shows where he gets his Blue Jazzmaster, like Blue American-made Jazzmaster, and he launches it across the stage and it just clatters into drum kits and everything. And I'm like, because he's like bent bridges and he's twisted saddles, and I'm just like, I'm gonna have to fix that. But but I'm totally a punk at heart. Like, see, if I wasn't working the show, I'd throw things with him. Like, but see, because that's my mess to tidy up at the end of the night. I'm like, fuck. But no, it's an amazing show, man. I'm
gonna frame my notes this week because I just think it's beautiful. I've went and did all kind of. All my notes and did.
Oh, fucking right!
Look at all that.
That's an experience, man.
I'm going to. I was cleaning out my wee shed where I usually do the podcast in, and I've got all the notes for all the other podcasts there, and I thought I'm going to keep all these just for future reference, just to look back on. But
you end up with that behind me. I don't know if you can see that, but that's fucking lanyards, laminates, tour posters, fucking set list.
Memory, yeah.
Like that's only a wee bit. Yeah, I've got like a whole drawer full of stacks of posters I can't get rid of, and it's all behind the computer and round the walls. And
I've got set lists and all that for the O2 EBC up behind my monitor and all that. So I've got all them and all the different sets I've played. I've got the King Tut's access, all areas passes and all sorts. I've got
my favourite one is there's a wee sticky there for fucking Limp Bizkit and Korn, and I was like, I fucking did that. But to me, that they were like the big thing when I was a wee guy, when I first got into metal, and I got to work with them. That was fucking class.
I see that. See Limp Bizkit, they get slagged a lot, but see the amount of folk that we've had on here that cite them as like
major
getting them into
influence,
that type of music, and then obviously look back and go, because they've went down a different route and they've went to the kind of heavier style, but that's been their start point. But have you enjoyed tonight's podcast then, Stephen? Has this been good?
I've loved it, man. I've absolutely loved it.
To chat music, can it?
Oh, dude, see, to me, this feels like Ken after a show when you're all coiling cables, you're all packing up and you're all just chatting shit, man. I like that air that day in the show. Like, this is what it's all about, and it's been so refreshing, man. And thank you all. Thank you for these.
No, it's
been great having you on as well, man.
Yeah, we're going to... Andy, you enjoyed it tonight? You're right up your street, innit?
Right up my street. Like, without a shadow of a doubt, you know. And by the way, like, check out... Like, Stephen does a lot of gaming on Twitch as well.
I'm going to look at Twitch.
But one of the amazing things he does, and it's fascinating, he has started producing songs live on Twitch, covers. So starting doing covers and building them live, and it's amazing. Some of the stuff that's come out is just brilliant. Is
this on your...
What night's that? Saturday night?
Aye, Saturday night. Last night we done Hurt by 9 Inch Nails in a weird death metal, black metal, shoegaze vibe.
The Van Dad. So is it that Van Dad?
And a few weeks before that we did Elvis, Can't Help Falling in Love with You, but in a skate punk version.
Oh, wow.
Which was cool.
Aye,
you hear my amazing singing on it.
Are these all still up? Yeah, these will all still be up on Twitch, won't
they? I think they're on my YouTube channel.
Same, the Van Dad.
No, it's Van Dad Tours. I think.
Van
I'll
Dad
double check
Tours.
that. Yeah.
That's great. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure tonight. Next week, God, I should have had my notes up to
Here
see
we
who
go.
we've got next week. Drum roll, drum roll, drum
What,
roll.
every Friday or Saturday next Sunday next week?
I don't know. We'll need to ask the guest. We've got Jim Reid from the Renains next week.
All right.
Jim Reid from the Renains is on. We better let him know.
Aye.
I'm sure he's bringing a Doors album on. I'm sure he is.
Ooh, spicy.
But he's right into Bruce. But he's right into Springsteen now. So
After the result today, mate, it was a bit pity, wasn't it? Right, it was on there.
mentally
You
zen.
need to make sure you bring it up next week.
I speak to him every day on it. He's very vocal on it, but he's a good guy. So
Oh yes, so.
okay, guys, we're going to play out with Arcade Break, and thanks again for everybody that's watching and everybody that will be watching on YouTube and Facebook.
Yes,
Just
Stephen.
subscribe to the channel and join us every Sunday or Friday to talk music. And if you want on, just send us a message. We'll have anybody because we love talking music. We love talking music.
We just love talking, chatting the shit. You know, that's it basically.
So this is
That's what it's all
called
about.
Absend. Is that right?
Yes, absent,
Yeah.
like an abscess, but an end.
Here we go. Good night, folks.